Local sports in the afternoon. It's the Drive Guys with Kevin Gleason and Kyle Draper on your radio at 1140 a.m.
Streaming audio at SacktownSports.com and the Sacktown Sports app.
You can also watch the show on YouTube at Sacktown Sports 1140. Here are the Drive Guys with Kevin Gleason and Kyle Draper.
Yes, the Drive Guys, as we speak, are scattered across the globe. Jay has a day off today. He should be back with us tomorrow. Kyle Draper's on his way here. Had some things he had to take care of, so Drape should be here shortly. So we got RJ, of course, holding things down here. Kyle Ledbetter back in the studio. And I explained that, especially for those of you nice enough to join us on YouTube, because the image today on YouTube, thanks to RJ for cobbling something together, it looks like I'm being interrogated by the KGB. This is also the exact lighting that they had in every Winchell's that I ever went in Vallejo, California. Winchell's Donuts. I don't know. They had this exact same lighting. And Kyle Ledbetter says I resemble the monkey in Toy Story 3.
Yes, I'm saying that the movie where they go to the daycare, the monkey is watching the video cameras in a room that looks exactly like the room that you're in right now.
Yes, and then you sent that to RJ. He showed it to me. You were exactly right. That's definitely a hit there on the money, Kyle Ledbetter. So, yeah, Drape should be with us shortly as we get ready for game night in more ways than one tonight. It is game night tonight. Of course, we'll have game night with the High Flyer and Scott Marsh at the conclusion of our show, but that's the theme tonight here at the Golden One Center. Game night, so that means Scott and all the fans at halftime and between quarters and everything probably be playing some silly games, so that'll be, I'm sure, a lot of fun. Hasn't been a lot of fun for Kings fans of late. Hopefully they can turn things around against the Portland Trail Blazers. It's interesting contrast here on this day, opening day in baseball. So it's a day of optimism for baseball fans. Whether you're rooting for the Giants, who are taking on Cincinnati, or you're rooting for the A's, they'll be visiting the Mariners tonight, or even if you're a fan of White Sox, for at least opening day, it's like you can be optimistic and you can feel good. The season is starting, and the weight of your team's ineptitude, you don't start to feel it for a while yet. And who knows, maybe you never will. Miracles can happen. So baseball fans, and many baseball fans are also Kings fans. I recognize that. But you got baseball fans today full of optimism and full of hope. Look at Kyle Ledbetter in his Padres jersey and his Sales shirt. He's ready to go from a number of different directions here. But Kings fans, I think, are having a hard time clinging to that hope. Speaking of clinging, Donovan clinging in the Blazers tonight, with the team having lost 4 straight for the second time in their last 10 games, I think a lot of fans starting to lose a little bit of that optimism, and it's unfortunate. And of course, if the Kings win tonight, they can start to turn things back around, get this headed in the right direction, with only 10 games to go, battling for that play-in spot. Do you get that sense, Kyle Ledbetter, that Kings fans, I know you're on with Styles every day, Kings fans are starting to feel they're getting a little discouraged, the dauber's getting down, to use a baseball term. Hey, don't get your dauber down.
I think the vocal ones are certainly down on this season, and how could you not be when you've lost 4 in a row, 8 of your last 10, and I guess
right.
The bright side is you've made it through the darkest days of the schedule, right? And you've emerged, and you're still the 9th seed. Right. But
there you go.
But it's hard. I mean, when you've lost 8 of 10 games, regardless of who the opponents are, no one feels good about it. Sure, we can talk as much about how difficult the schedule is, but at the end of the day, I think people hope that even though they had this gauntlet of OKCs and Denvers and Bostons, they hope that, maybe they would win 1 or 2. Maybe they would surprise us and win a bunch of those games. So to have reality set in where you're now in this losing skid, it certainly doesn't feel good, especially when your only chances to get to the playoffs are through the hard part of the play-in.
Yeah, I understand it. I'm not, browbeating any fans right now who've lost a little of their optimism, but I still think it's something they can get back. How about you, RJ? Is your dauber down? I know it's kind of a personal question.
Am I allowed to talk about that? I didn't know daubers were allowed. But no, I mean, the fans, my big thing about the fans is they've been through a lot, and they've had a lot of pain for 16 years, and then they got that taste.
Yep.
And it's optimism, it's emotion, they still love this team. They're always going to love this team. I really believe that. I see them in here every night loving this team, but it hurts. it hurts when you had that taste and now it's looking a little rough and we're down to the last couple games and still don't know where we're going.
It's like we've talked about this. It's like a defense mechanism, right? It's like, well, I'm all right. I'm just going to assume they're not going to finish well because I was hoping this would be a big finish and a big year, and it's not going that way. And it hurts, but it's okay. It's all right. Dare to hope here down the stretch for the Kings. Speaking of the taste of things, first taste today for me of Coke Zero.
Hey, how about
I don't know, kind of a love-hate relationship, Kyle Ledbetter. I don't know. Sometimes I think, it's not bad. Other times I think, just get me a regular.
I'm sure you guys
So
have talked
I'm
about it
working on
before, but it's like Whitey has just these unique soda habits while he's doing a show. He doesn't eat anything while he's doing a show, but he will always have some sort of soft drink with him while he's doing a show. And I guess today,
Yes.
Arena Coke Zero, I'm guessing.
That's right. Went downstairs because somebody, can you get me a Diet
Oh,
Coke?
for the love of Pete.
Whitey, can you please give me a Diet Coke? So I had to get RJ a soda. And I was happy to do that.
Yeah.
As hard
I'm
as
glad.
RJ works.
I wish you would have gone
Yeah.
faster, though.
Yeah, we missed you last night, RJ, at the game. Jay and Drapes and I stayed I left early third quarter. The Stockton Kings had that thing pretty well put away by that point. But that was a lot of fun yesterday. I know you're down there a lot doing stuff for the Stockton Kings with Deuce Snow and everybody. But that was a lot of fun yesterday.
It was good to have you guys there. We do the television broadcast for that, so we're there quite early setting up, and you can imagine. And it was nice to have you guys there just because we work together here and to have you down there. And it was a great game to watch.
You can't
It
get
was
enough
so
of us,
exciting.
can you?
I didn't say that. I'm pretty sure that's not how I worded it, but no, it was good. We had over 3,600 people in the building, and for a
Really?
G League game, that was really good. And they were loud, and they really cheered the team on. And when you see Mason Jones up here and not get as much time as he does down there, and to see him just dominate the G
Yeah.
League, it's so impressive. And it's high quality basketball down there. I don't want anyone to think it's minor, whatever. No. It is really entertaining, high-quality basketball, and I think people should come watch.
Yeah, I was keeping a close eye, of course, on Isaac Jones, who's played so well for the Kings in his brief minutes with the Kings. And the G League now, you can just see, and I didn't see him a lot before he came up to the Kings, so I don't have a lot to compare to. What's up, Drapes?
What's up, boys?
Yeah. Did you have fun last night, Stockton? Yeah. But he just dominates people, RJ. You can see he's got that confidence of, I've been in the NBA, all right? It's G League and I'm here and I'm doing my work, but you can't stop me. You're a G League guy. I'm an NBA player now. And Scal is like a dominant player in the G League. So that was a big win for the Stockton Kings last night. We saw Jason Thompson there. He's like an assistant coach with the Sioux Falls Skyforce. So that was interesting. Kyle Ledbetter, I wanted to ask you this here. And then Kyle Draper getting all squared away with us here. He'll be joining us in just a moment. Everything good, Drapes? Everything good? Yeah. Okay. We heard today on Carmichael Dave's show, of course, Sam Amick, the quote was, Vlade Divac has been around a lot more lately, and that's another talking point in league circles. I want to get your sense. Yeah. Okay. We have that. Yeah. Here's Sam Amick today on with Carmichael Dave.
Everything old might be new again. Vlade Divac has been around a lot more lately, and that's another talking point in league circles.
Wait, what? Hold on. Wait.
Yeah, Carmichael Dave. So I'm just wondering, Kyle, have fans reacted to that? I heard a little bit of your show today. I didn't hear you guys talking about that. Have Kings fans on the station today been reacting one way or the other to that? It's not even news. It's just kind of a tidbit.
So we touched on it briefly at the beginning of the show, and you can go on social media or our website. They have the full clip. But the thing that I thought was most interesting out of it is he talked about a communication gap and how in the absence of that communication, you have a trusted confidant like Vlade Divac one night, and then it's Alvin Gentry another, or Anjali might be down there on the court or something like that. And I thought that was really interesting because it's like the story, I think, is a communication gap, especially when you have Wes Wilcox departing the organization, who had been the kind of communication liaison for the team going back 4.5 or 5 years. I thought that was really interesting from what Sam said, but I understand people hearing the Vlade Divac of it all, the person who famously drafted Marvin Bagley over Luka Doncic, and been like, I don't want him around personnel decisions and organizational, construction and things of those sorts.
Right. Yeah. So I'm not going to leap to any conclusions yet. Too easy to do that. hopefully we'll have more information soon. But, and Sam is great at what he does. No question about that. And he's supplied a lot of information here in these difficult hours of this season as far as what's going on. But we could see that Vlade was around. We've seen him around. So what that means, I don't know. Fingers crossed that it doesn't mean the Kings are considering taking some steps backwards, but plenty of time for all that to play out after this season's over. And the Kings still playing some significant games, starting with tonight against the Portland Trailblazers with a playoff or at least play-in ramifications. We're going to be right back with Kyle Draper. He's getting ready to get all set up. Drive Guys coming to you from the Gold One Center on Sacktown Sports.
All guests and callers join us from the Folsom Lake Honda Hotline. Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop.
Tonight, Kings and Trailblazers. Game night with Scott Marsh and the high flyer Henry Turner starts at 5:30. Tip-off at 7.
The Kings play here on Sacktown Sports.
Sacktown Sports, 1140.
What's up? We're talking to Chad Hoblet, Hoblet Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram, and Woodland. Chad, it's Ram Truck Month. The sales event's going on right now, and I know that means heavy discounts.
It's not just a discount, it's big discounts on hard-to-find Ram heavy duties. Right now, save up to $16,000 off MSRP on remaining new 2024 Ram 2500 and 3500 heavy duties. When you need a hard-to-find truck, Hoblet has it, with over 500 new Rams available.
Just one of the many reasons Hoblet always ranks as one of the biggest and best Ram dealers in all of America.
And we are proud of that. But we don't just sell Rams. You have to check out the Hoblet Certified Pre-Owned Supercenter with 200 vehicles available and 30 under $20,000.
Search, select, and save through their whole inventory at HobletDodge.com. Unbeatable prices, unbeatable selection. Nobody beats Hoblet, period.
$16,000 total net savings after $71.29 factory rebates and $88.71 dealer discounts. Rebates include $500 first responder bonus cash for eligible first responders and $66.29 West BC standalone 10% below MSRP. 5 vehicles at this net savings. Sample VIN 316786. Not everyone will qualify for all rebates. See dealer for details.
Welcome to Staples.
I hear Staples prints it all for any business.
You bet. And we'll beat any print quote.
So if I had a pizza place.
Staples can print signs, menus, pizza boxes.
A landscaping business.
Oh, we can print yard signs, t-shirts, brochures.
How about a pizza/landscaping business? I'll call it Dough and Mo.
I like it.
Right now at Staples, get up to $250 off your print purchase. Ends 4/5, exclusions apply. Visit staples.com/print for offer details. Price match guarantee valid in store and staples.com/print. Visit staples.com/price match for details.
JCPenney makes spring fashion look so easy. Throw on something light, bright, and extra comfy. Mix and match new arrivals from your fave brands and create affordable outfits with ease, like the perfect St. John's Bay polo paired with chinos, or a simple sweater and denim combo from A&A. Get that Liz Claiborne handbag you love, plus those cute sandals to match. For warmer nights, pick out cool, lightweight sleep sets from Umbriel. Come shop, bring the fam, and start chasing those spring vibes now. JCPenney, make it count.
Your afternoon home for Kings talk and so much more. The Drive Guys on Sacktown Sports.
Kyle Draper joining us here. Drapes, welcome to game night here at the Golden One Center. And good to see you after a fun game last night.
Yeah, we had a good time down there in Stockton last night. Some great people down there. Saw a great game. I know you talked a little bit about it. You know, it was fun, man. I can't wait to do it again.
I really was impressed. RJ talked about this, but we were fortunate enough. Stockton Kings set us up. We're in the front row, which for you, I know you're used to being right there.
Yeah.
But I don't know what I expected, but the speed and the strength of the players sitting right there, it really stood out.
Right? And the physicality, the contact.
Exactly.
Like, you know, it's really, you could call a foul on every possession, I feel like, because there's so much bumping and grabbing and everything like that. And no, it was great just to be there in that front row seat. And I thought, man, you know, as we're watching it, I know it's the G League, but that's high-level basketball too. Like these guys, they're pros pretty much. You know what I mean?
It is.
Like this is a high level of basketball we saw out there last night.
Yeah. Did you agree with what I said about Isaac Jones? He plays down there, and again, I didn't see him much before he came up here, so I can't compare it to anything. But he carries himself like, you can't stop me. I'm an NBA guy now.
Yeah, he does. You know what he reminds me of? Our boy Neemias Queta used to dominate the G League. And so you made an interesting point about bigs at that level. Like, you know, most of the good bigs are here in the pros because, you know, you
There's
look
such a need.
exactly. It's such a need. And you look at Isaac Jones last night, man, he was dominant out there, you know, playing with force, playing above the rim, catching alley-oops. It was just a different level for him out there.
Yeah, and today is opening day in baseball. So for baseball fans, you know, optimism and hope abounds. Hasn't been the case for Kings fans of late, so I'm hoping that Kings give the fans reason tonight to start feeling better about things. I'm confident they will.
Yeah, it's a big game tonight, man.
Yeah.
You got to come out and really take it to this Portland Trailblazers team. I understand Portland has been playing better since the turn of the calendar, but you know, it's a big game. You're tied with Phoenix right now for the 9th spot. Fortunately, Dallas lost last night, so they didn't gain any ground on us. But no, you got to, especially Whitey, we only got 4 home games left.
That's right.
1 tonight and then 3 to wrap up the season. Like, our home record has been horrendous this season. And so give this fans, this crowd something to cheer about tonight.
Yeah. And let's see, 3 of the last 4 losses have been by double digits.
Yep.
So I can understand fans getting a little discouraged. The schedule does, and I know you don't want to spend a lot of time talking about the schedule, which I respect, because we probably spend too much time on it as it is. But schedule lightens up a little bit, but Drapes, then it kind of stiffens up a little bit again after that.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. This is the draft lottery. Excuse me. Let me get the NBA strength of schedule. It does, get harder, especially at the end of the season. Those 3 home games: Denver, Clippers, Phoenix. Come on, man. Like that, and that's why starting tonight, you got to take advantage. Right now, the Kings with the 14th toughest schedule in the league. You got Phoenix still at number 1, but we just saw it doesn't matter to Phoenix. Like, you know, they've beaten some good teams throughout this.
Celtics roughed them up a little bit.
Yeah, so without Jason Tatum.
Yeah,
they're a well-oiled machine. But, you know, Phoenix still got OKC, Boston. The team I'm worried about a little bit is Dallas, because their strength of schedule is not that hard. You know, their strength of schedule is 18th toughest in the league. And so they do have 2 games against the Clippers, though. And so all of a sudden we're becoming Clippers fans, too, here.
Sure.
You know, down the stretch, because the Clippers still got something to play for. And so the Kings got to take care of what they can take care of, Whitey. They went out. We ain't got to worry about nobody in the rear view mirror, right? And so whether it's tonight against Portland or Orlando or Charlotte or whoever, you got to win these games now.
Yeah, it's difficult sometimes this time of year when you have a matchup. Tonight, of course, Kings and Portland, and you look at it and you try to figure out what's going to happen based on what's happened so far this season. But a lot of that does not apply to either team tonight. The Kings, of course, as Doug says, this is like the 3rd or 4th iteration of the Kings. And Portland right now, they're getting a little more clarity in terms of the young players they're focusing on, because Robert Williams is out, Ayton's out. I think Grant's questionable. Their young guys are playing more and playing better. They're starting Shaden Sharp, and I think in the front court technically.
Yeah.
And Klingon's playing really well.
Yeah, he's starting at center for them, and he's playing well. Fortunately, Kamara is questionable tonight. He gave us fits defensively last time. You know, he's one of the elite defenders. And a guy like Denny Avdia, too, plays with physicality. And so this Portland team, I think they're top 5, Whitey, and points, shooting, assist since middle of January. Like they've really turned it around.
Yeah,
the last 2
months. It's like a different team. They took down the Kings the last time that they played. I'm wondering what their mindset is tonight. And hopefully, you know, from the Kings standpoint, they take care of their business. It doesn't matter what the other team's thinking. But I don't know, is Portland coming in here kind of playing out the string, or are they looking at like, wow, we got a slim chance to get in the play, and we got to win this one tonight? Are they going to bring any kind of desperation into this game tonight? The type of desperation we're hoping we can see from the Kings the rest of the way.
Yeah, I feel like they still think they have a shot. Like, I feel like they're still making a playoff push.
Right.
You know, I'm looking at the standings right now. They're 3 games behind Phoenix and 3.5 games behind us, it looks like. Like, based on what they've done the last couple of months, I feel like they're making a play. Like, they aren't resting guys or just sitting guys. Like, Simons was playing. Like, I think they're really trying to go for it and win some basketball.
That makes me a little nervous tonight, if I'm being honest.
I mean, this is a team that's already beat us 2 out of 3 times this season. It's kind of a matchup nightmare for us in the fact that they're hungry, man. Like they're young guys. To your point, they've sort of figured it out, and it started really against us. Right after the All-Star break too, like they were riding that hot streak.
Yes,
they were playing, or right before the All-Star break,
Mhm.
excuse me, they were riding that hot streak, and they were one of the hottest teams in the league, and they've sort of continued that here recently. This is a tough matchup tonight, man.
I don't know if you've heard anything about Malik. I think I heard a little tidbit from Kyle Ledbetter. Did you guys have a less than rosy outlook for Malik tonight? I thought I overheard you guys say something about that.
So Malik Monk right now is questionable. Devin Carter is available. He was on the injury report earlier, and Jake LaRavia is out.
Yeah,
Okay.
no Jake the Snake.
Wow. All right.
That
Hopefully
hurts.
Malik is back tonight. I would like to see the Kings able to establish their physicality. And I know we say that a lot. Just bring the fight to the Blazers tonight. Doesn't this seem to be one of those nights where if you're the Kings and you're serious about this whole thing, then you have to start to show the intensity tonight. I know it's hard to find the intensity with so many moving parts, and this guy's out and that guy's out, LaRavia's out tonight, and you're still figuring things out offensively. But I think that's what the fans need to see, is they need to see the Kings bring that level of intensity tonight and defend the home floor and show that, yes, we want this.
Right. And because you know why, Whitey? They've been able to use as an excuse, and I'm not saying the team is doing that, but in my mind, some of the fans' minds, well, what do you expect? It's against Oklahoma City. What do you expect? It's against Boston. These are the best of the best. Now you're playing the team record-wise you are better than. This will tell me a lot about our squad and our mindset tonight. I can understand getting smacked up by the two teams we just faced because those teams, they're at a much different level right now than we are. But tonight, come on, man. In front of this crowd tonight, we got to bring the fight to Portland. Do we really want to make the play-in? Are we looking towards the postseason? Doug Christie said it at halftime against OKC. In his mind, they're aiming for the playoffs. They're going to face OKC in round one. Well, do the players actually believe that? I think we'll be able to tell a lot about that tonight.
Yeah. Kyle Lang in the Chateau says the guy who killed us last time was Anthony Simons. What was he, 8 for 12 from threes or something like that?
16 points fourth quarter.
Yeah, and to your point, it just speaks to how this is, even though Portland doesn't have a very good record, it is a difficult matchup for your Sacramento Kings this evening.
Yes, it is. It's a tough matchup, and, think about it like this too, Whitey. People see Sacramento on the schedule and they look at it as a get-right game. Oh, we got to get this one. We can beat these guys. These jokers are reeling right now. And so I'd imagine Portland's coming out like Denny Avdia is going to try to do some things tonight. Mark my words, ladies and gentlemen. He's going to try to put on the show out here, his physicality, his ability to get downhill. And so Portland's looking at us like we're some chumps, and that they can come in here and run roughshod over us. So we got to be ready.
Yes, sir. The last two games, Portland, that's against Cleveland and Boston, they've put up a combined 99 threes.
Ooh.
And we know the Kings put up 50, whatever they did in their last game.
What was it, 50, right? Was it 49?
49.
49.
Yeah. So I don't know how this game's going to go. I think we're going to see a lot of threes flying tonight.
Do we want to get into a three-point shootout with them? That's the question.
Mm-hmm.
Shaden Sharp and Simons, and some of their three-point shooters versus Keegan Murray and Zach. Like, look at what he said. Because I'll be honest. If I'm correct, we made more threes than OKC the other night. So to me, it's not about that. It's not about how many threes you get up or how many threes you make. It's about how you defend. Like, our defense got to be on point tonight, Whitey.
Yeah.
If I'm correct, we made 23 and they made
23 of 47. You're right.
Yeah.
19 of 30.
Yeah, exactly. And so we hit more threes. Whoop-de-freaking do. But they shot, 58, 59% from three.
Mm-hmm.
So it's about our defense, three-point defense, I think, tonight, Whitey.
They shot 59
from three. I told you, man. Right. No, we can't. I mean,
you occasionally do that in a quarter, right? But for a game, wow. Brendan Nunes, our Sacktown Sports Kings insider, joins us next. Drive Guys from the Golden One, Sacktown Sports.
If you've been looking for an SUV that combines luxury, comfort, and off-road capability, look no further than the most awarded SUV ever, the Jeep Grand Cherokee at Sacramento Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. With 470 foot-pounds of torque, a 6,000-pound towing capacity, great gas mileage, the 2025 Jeep Grand Cherokee at Sacramento Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram is the perfect SUV for all your needs. See for yourself why people are coming from all over to Sacramento Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. Centrally located across from Hagen Oaks Golf Course, it's the place where a handshake still means something.
Whitey here reminding you that not all grills are created equal. When buying a new grill, every detail matters. For March, grab a $149 gift with purchase of every new Napoleon Prestige stainless steel grill, including a pizza lover starter kit and much more. More March savings include up to $79 off Rogue models. Napoleon grills are built different, built better, built to last, with a lifetime warranty and premium stainless steel that boasts quality. See how Napoleon will help you achieve the perfect grilling experience. Visit Green Acres Nursery today with your best selection of Napoleon grills and accessories.
At Fisher Investments, we may seem like other money managers, but we're different.
Are you really that different than the rest of us?
We are. As a fiduciary, we always focus on what's best for our clients.
What services do you offer besides investing?
We have a team of specialists in financial planning, estate planning, and more.
Your clients rely on you for all that?
Yes, we ensure clients receive unparalleled service at every step of the relationship.
Okay, but you still sell commission-based products, right?
No, because we believe that's a conflict of interest. We prioritize service over sales goals.
So then how do your fees work?
We have a simple and transparent fee that's a percentage of our clients' portfolios. So we do better when our clients do better.
Wow, we're more different than I thought.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at fisherinvestments.com. Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
At Elk Grove Honda, not only do we have a great selection of pre-owned cars at very fair prices, but every one of our pre-owned automobiles are treated with kid gloves with a 182-point inspection that covers everything from unibody to tires to brakes and engine filters. Then our cars receive a mobile oil change and fresh fill-up with full synthetic mobile oil. We know you have lots of choices of where to purchase your next car. Come to Elk Grove Honda, home with a 182-point inspection and mobile oil change. We're in the Elk Grove Auto Mall, Highway 99 at Elk Grove Boulevard.
Spring is in the air, and there's really nothing better than hitting the open road in a new Honda. Whether you're shopping for new or pre-owned, Stockton Honda has the selection and savings. Plus, get top dollar for your trade. And while life's roads are often filled with bumps, buying from Stockton Honda couldn't be smoother. Wherever the road you travel might lead, Stockton Honda is happy to get you there. Come in today or go to StocktonHonda.com.
Anytime, anywhere, it's all here. StocktonHonda.com.
Finally, an easy way to find home improvement contractors. Just visit subcontractorsunited.com and simplify your search for home services professionals. From cabinets to windows, roofing to plumbing, Subcontractors United is an easy, simple way to find and hire a home improvement contractor. And you never have to give up personal information. So no harassing phone calls like you get from those other websites. SubcontractorsUnited.com is sponsored by D&D Cabinets and Savage Design.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-444-2013. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-444-2013. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-444-2013. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds, too. Call 800-444-2013. 800-444-2013.
The Drive Guys, live and local, every afternoon, Monday through Friday on Sacktown Sports.
It is game night at the Golden One Center. That's the theme for tonight is game night. Drapes, what's your go-to board game? It's raining or something. Like, all right,
Monopoly,
kid.
bro. I'm
Monopoly?
Yeah, come on, man. I'm a Monopoly whiz, dude. I smack the kids up and spank the kids in Monopoly all the time. Although Uno is a great Draper household game, too.
Okay.
And especially Whitey. I can tell this quick story. This is how it is in the household. So we're playing Uno. And now today's Uno isn't like Uno we did growing up. Now you can write your own things on the Uno cards. They give you like 3 or 4 cards.
Oh.
And so you could draw 15, So we did a draw 20, right?
Uh-huh.
And we played Staxies. And so the kids were ganging up on me. They were ganging. I'm like, all right. And I'm sitting on the draw 20 in my hand.
Uh-huh.
And so my daughter plays a draw 2 to my son. My son plays a draw 2 to me. So it would be on me to draw 4. And they're laughing, they're hooting, they're hollering. And so my kids are huge wrestling fans. So I knew I had to draw 20 in my hand. I stand up on the arm of the couch, and from the top rope, I go, bam, draw 20. My poor daughter, she started crying and quit the game after that. So
way to go, Dad.
I feel horrible about that one, but it was because they were giving me crap the entire game, man. But I didn't just play to draw 20. I didn't just go, draw 20. I mean, I literally was up there. It came off the top rope.
I mean, that's
hit him with it.
That's so unlike you.
Right.
That's the only thing that.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, you could just put the card on the table. You don't need to do a body slam off the ropes.
Nice. I may have to have him call in. Sorry, I may have to have him call and relive that one, man. They're gonna be in therapy for about 10 years because of that episode.
It happened.
Oh my gosh! All right,
Brendan Nunes with us from Sacktown Sports. Brendan, what is your go-to board game?
I mean, I guess it's maybe not a board game, but I'm a big Yahtzee guy. Played that a lot with family growing up.
Ooh, Yahtzee, that's a game.
I would say that's a fun one. I do like Monopoly,
Are you the
but
type of guy that...
but I'm constantly accused by my family of being a sketchy banker, even though nobody else wants to be the banker, and I think it's a job that you should get paid for.
Sketchy. He said he was getting paid for his Monopoly banker job. Oh man, what you get a 20 every time somebody comes or passes go or something?
You just get, you got to pay for every time you're putting in a little bit more effort. If you got to pay attention. In my household, it was honestly, if you're not cheating, you're not trying. So we all just got to make sure if you're not keeping tabs, that's your fault.
Every time I see Brendan now, I'm going to think, sketchy banker.
Yeah.
There's the sketchy banker. Brendan, how about the Kings tonight? Is it fair to expect the Kings to look better over the next few games because the schedule eases up a little bit? Is that reasonable?
You would think so. They haven't been playing the most inspired basketball recently, honestly, to, I think, give people that much confidence. But you can see the talent on this team, and 2-8 in their last 10 isn't the greatest, but one of those is a win over the Cleveland Cavaliers. I thought that, Doug took an interesting approach after that OKC game and found some silver linings in some of their performance in that one. Boston, I think, went okay for stretches. So the pieces are there. And I think that, again, like you mentioned, the schedule easing up should help, but Portland's no slouch. I think that they play hard. Tumani Kamara is an all-defensive type of guy. Denny Avdia, I heard you guys mentioning earlier, obviously a really good player. So you're not just going to walk into any wins, but they need to play a lot better, I think, specifically offensively, because defensively the question marks are going to exist. But I think you need to be more productive on the offensive end with the talent that you have.
Brendan, I'm looking at, like you said, 2-8 the last 10. But I'm looking at this roster, and to your point, I do think there's some talent on this roster. How much of the up and down play, the inconsistencies, has to do with who's available on a night in and night basis? I mean, Malik Monk, questionable again. No Jake LaRavia tonight. How much, not an excuse, but how much do you think that has played a factor in some of these games?
Yeah, I think it definitely does. I mean, specifically when it's some of those starting lineup guys, right? I think the bench rotation, you see guys fill in and play a role. And yeah, they're impacted, but you feel it more with those starters. And specifically, I think Domantas Sabonis having extended stretches, or I guess it was kind of just 2 games that he missed on 2 separate occasions, if I have that right in my mind. But specifically after, you made a decent bit of roster turnover at the deadline and you're trying to get a new star player, Zach LaVine, sure, he's familiar with DeMar DeRozan, but not really Domantas Sabonis, and that's a whole different style of big than what he was used to with Vucevic and some of these other guys. So I think that you're seeing that. I think that's part of the reason for the offensive clunkiness. But like you said, there's no excuse, and you did kind of sign up for some growing pains when you made those moves at the deadline. So you have a guy like Valanciunas that's able to fill in those roles. You're seeing Keon Ellis step in the starting lineup when a guy like Malik is out. You have some, I think, solid depth down to maybe 8 on the roster, maybe 8, 9. So you have the guys to make up for it, but plays a factor, but no excuses, you know?
Brendan Nunes with us. I have a serious basketball question for you, but first I have a Yahtzee question, which is also a serious question, because I know over the last several years we've been playing a lot, holidays and stuff, play a lot of Yahtzee. I found that some of the younger players, when it comes time to add up your score, they need their phones. They can't add it up. It's like, I got to get the calculator on my phone. Brendan, are you? I don't. Seriously, it's like, really? And then the other ones, like, oh yeah, the young ones, like, yeah. I can't add it up. How old are you, Brendan?
Oh shoot.
27. No, I would add it up on paper, but then what happens is if there's a close score between two people, then it's competitive enough that I'm like, nah, I'm double checking your count. There's no way.
Okay, fair enough. I did want to ask you what you made of Sam Amick's comments on the station today regarding Vlade's, potential return to the front office in some capacity. What'd you think of all that?
Yeah, Sam just kind of said that he's been floating around a little bit, and I don't think that's the most surprising. We've seen him courtside, and heard similar things. I think that Vivek is known to have multiple people that he kind of gets opinions from. Sam also mentioned like Alvin Gentry sits there sometimes, and that's not to insinuate that Alvin's in the talks for some sort of promotion or anything like that, but Vivek has his people he talks to, and I don't think it'd be the most surprising thing, but I think that you're going to see him look in a handful of different directions as well. There's a lot of times that he's gone to previous Warriors or people that have been involved in Golden State's organization. And, I think you could see that. There's previous people around the league as well that have been involved in the Kings, like, Scott Perry, his name was floated around a little bit at times. So I think that there's going to be a search, probably. At least that's what signs are pointing towards right now. I think that McNair's consideration could be part of that, but and him being retained. But I think that, they're going to look in a lot of different directions. And honestly, there seems to always be one name on the list that you're just like, really? So it's kind of where I'm at.
Gotcha. Okay. Thanks. He was choosing his words very carefully.
Yeah, he was tiptoeing around that one.
Yeah.
I do want to go back to the current state right now, and with 10 games left to go. I was just looking at it. Zach and Domas have only played 14 games together. Very small sample size. From what you've seen, though, do they fit together? What's been their mesh together through only 14 games out there together on the floor?
Like you're saying, it's only 14 games, so take that for what you will. But honestly, I don't think it's been very good so far. I think that defensively, especially, you kind of see some weaknesses, but that's to be expected. But I think the offensive flow isn't quite there. There's, Demonis was talking about when they first got Zach of figuring out the best way to set him up is he needs the ball in his hands a little bit, and that's a little less DHO. Zach wants to get into a little bit of a rhythm, and obviously he's a talented enough guy that I think should be more than enabled to do that. But it takes away a little bit from part of what makes Domas great. Not that he can't still set screens and find ways to roll, but I don't think that the chemistry has been there yet offensively, and there still is that learning process. And it's not like they are defensive stoppers either, especially when you're also having DeMar DeRozan out there for extended minutes alongside them. So I think it's been pretty bumpy so far, but to be expected, I would say, with only 15 games between the two. It's just not the greatest time to be experiencing some of these growing pain hiccups.
Yeah, Brendan, as you say, the defense, they've struggled so much, and that's the discouraging thing to me. Once they get behind, it's becomes so difficult to catch somebody when you're not getting stops and you fall far behind. So hopefully that'll start looking better tonight. I want to ask you, is Keegan going to end up having a really solid year overall, the way his numbers keep trending upwards?
I think so. I think it's one of the more interesting, under-talked about storylines this season, understandably so with everything else that's taken place. But extension eligible this offseason for Keegan, and he has been playing a lot better. I think that he mentioned after that last game that he feels like he's been in a rhythm for maybe about 3 weeks or so. I think that you've seen him be more confident. Doug wants him taking 10 threes a game at least, and Zach LaVine has at that same minimum, if not more, as well, for what it's worth. But I think that you're seeing him be aggressive. The rebounding was already up. The defense was already better this year, and you're starting to see the offense come back around, which is encouraging because, I don't know exactly how the season's going to end. I don't think that if they do make the postseason that they're going to make some splash or anything. One of the biggest, I think, bright spots that could come in this last 10 to, let's say, 15 games if they do make the postseason is Keegan Murray starting to spread his wings a little bit more, because he's one of those internal growth spots that I think you could really look towards and find some optimism. So I think it will start to look better, but I'm curious how extension talks would go, and it wouldn't surprise me if he felt like, no, I have more to show before I lock myself into some money, but we'll see.
All right, Sketchy Banker, thanks. We appreciate it very much, and we'll see you out here in a little bit.
Appreciate it, guys.
All right, now.
What the A's are named a best bet to accomplish this season. The A's of Sacramento. That's next with the Drive Guys on Sacktown Sports.
Sacktown Sports is bringing you the biggest live events in town. Whether you're rocking out or dancing the night away, check out the Sacktown Sports live events calendar. Get ready for an epic night out. Papa Roach and Rise Against take over Golden One Center March 29th. That same night, comedy legends Jay Leno and Arsenio Hall bring the laughs to Hard Rock Live Sacramento. Get ready to laugh your socks off. And for all you country fans, Lee Bryce and Walker Hayes hit Ironstone Amphitheater June 21st. Then head to Santa Rosa for Country Summer with Sam Hunt, Kane Brown, and Dustin Lynch June 27th through the 29th. Then back to one of the most beautiful venues as Parker McCollum takes the stage August 16th at Ironstone Amphitheater in Murphys, California. Don't miss out. Find more info and score your chance to win tickets at sacktownsports.com. Again, get all the details on the hottest events happening in town and your chance to win tickets at sacktownsports.com.
Huge savings now on new 2025 Silverado at the Maida Chevy Silverado Supercenter. Save $11,000 off MSRP after rebates and free. New Silverado LT Turbo Max with Maida Chevy's exclusive all in-stock pricing. And Maida Chevy has one of the largest selections in the Sacramento area. $11,000 off new Silverado at the Maida Chevy Silverado Supercenter. Now that's big, huge. See them all at MaidaChevy.com. Together, let's drive.
Not available with special financing, leasing, some of the offers.
Made a great deal at Maida.
You know the old early bird and worm thing? Well, here's an early bird special and Bonnie's lowest price of the year. Imagine an entire new HVAC system replacement, both heating and cooling, for as low as, ready, $11,789. Take advantage of that, $11,789. Hurry though, this is a limited offer and ends April 15th. The sooner you act, the sooner you save. Plumbing, electrical, heating, and air, Bonnie.com. Some restrictions apply. License 696355.
Pro Savings Days are back at Lowe's with limited time savings on the supplies pros need. Get up to 40% off select major appliances. Plus, save an additional $100 on every $1,000 you spend on select major appliances. And don't miss your chance to activate and earn 3 times the points on select DeWalt and Klein tools. Lowe's, we help, you save. Valid through 3/28. Selection varies by location. While supplies last. See associate or Lowe's.com for more details on qualifying items.
Progressive knows if you have to choose between everyday life and your RV, RV wins.
What, are you going to take the RV to the lake or clean out your closet?
RV wins!
Putting the dishes away or taking the RV camping?
RV wins!
Cleaning the fridge or taking a trip to the beach?
RV wins!
You might want to clean the fridge real quick because, mold.
We clean out the fridge, then take the RV out.
With Progressive, you can bundle your RV with your home or auto and save with a discount and spend more time enjoying those savings in your RV. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states and situations.
Buckle up, race fans. The 2025 Metal Cloak NorCal Stampede is coming in full throttle on Saturday, March 29th at Prairie City SVRA. The Ultra 4 USA West Coast Series kicks off with a high-octane showdown, where fearless drivers will push their machines to the limit over massive jumps, punishing rock obstacles, and high-speed straightaways. This is off-road racing at its wildest. Don't miss it. Tickets are just $30 at the gate, and camping is available. Prairie City SVRA in Rancho Cordova. Be there.
Tom's Watch Bar has the best happy hour in Sacramento, starting with $5 specials all day, every day. Plus select $7 appetizers and $12 entrees. With 360-degree viewing and game day vibes that match being at the game. Tom's Watch Bar is the ultimate game day experience for sports fans.
What's up? We're talking to Chad Hoblet of Hoblet Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Woodland. Well, it's the Ram Truck Month sales event, and I know that means discounts.
Right now, you can save up to $17,500 off MSRP on new 2025 Ram 1500 Bighorn Crew Cab 4x4s. And we don't just have a few Rams. We have Northern California's biggest selection, with over 500 new Rams available.
It's the big city savings with the small town customer service.
Exactly. When you shop at Hoblet, you become part of the family. Plus, we don't just have big savings on Ram trucks. We have almost 200 vehicles at the Hoblet Certified Pre-Owned Supercenter, and over 30 under $20,000.
Search, select, and save through their whole inventory at HobletDodge.com. Unbeatable prices, unbeatable selection. Nobody beats Hoblet, period.
$17,500 total net savings after $10,500 factor rebates and $7,000 dealer discounts. Rebates include $2,000 Chrysler Capital bonus cash. Must finance through Chrysler Capital. $1,500 National Conquest dealer cash. Must currently own or lease a Ford, Chevy, or GMC brand vehicle. And $500 on-the-job upfit. Must show 500 plus eligible upfit. 5 of this net savings. Sample VIN 684262. See dealer for details.
Your afternoon home for Kings talk and so much more. The Drive Guys on Sacktown Sports.
Happy opening day to those who observe, as has been said here. Do you know, Drapes, I was looking at The Athletic, and they named some best bets. I don't really bet on baseball.
Yeah.
But they have best bets to win more games than they're projected to win. And one of their best bets, according to The Athletic, the Athletics. 71 and a half.
Yeah. 71. What they win last? 69 last
69
year?
last year.
Okay.
Yeah. So they're among the whoever wrote this for
I'd say you win. If you win more than 71 and a half, you're really talking about respectability. You're getting close to that 80. You know, if you're going over 75, 73, like that's, it's considering where they were before.
Yes.
You know, a couple of years ago, Whitey. You're trending towards respectability.
Yes, they had a really solid second half last year. So that was nice to see. And I think that was Austin Mock who put that together. So baseball season here. You know, the A's opening Monday. Last I saw, there's a chance of rain on
rain. I saw that.
I hate to say that.
I saw that. That's let me look at my good old weather app right here.
We can't have
Monday
rain out on the first major league game in Sacramento history.
Well,
can't we?
First pitch. Oh, well, we could actually.
Can we, RJ? We can't have that.
Monday.
If I get the day off, that'd be great.
59 degrees is 65% chance of rain.
All right.
Oh, they'll play.
That would be brutal. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
so fingers crossed.
A lot of people going to opening day or, home opener and pomp and circumstance.
Oh, yeah.
And then it's like.
Yeah. Nothing quite like opening day.
I tell you what, I think it would be even worse, Whitey, to actually play the game in drizzling conditions. Because then some fans will be like, I'm not coming. It's too wet, or
bad experience.
Yeah, it's bad fan experience.
Yeah.
Maybe push it back a day. If you get rained out, I think would be better than actually playing it in dreary skies and coming down.
Yeah.
And it get called after 6, or something.
Yeah.
It's like,
Tony Gwynn, the all-time great hitter, he used to call the second game of the season real fans opening day, because he would say, everybody comes out on opening day.
Casuals.
But the next day, it's the real fans that actually come out.
Ooh.
So
I've told my baseball theory. Maybe it's wrong. Maybe some people may disagree, but I argue the majority of people at the stadium aren't really baseball fans. They like just being outdoors with other people. It's an event.
Is that more true of baseball than any other sport? In your opinion?
That's a great question. That's a great. I think football, there are football fans. Even the casuals are like into their team. I think more so with baseball. Yeah, I would think. And basketball is maybe second when it comes to that. Everybody want to be Instagrammable moments and things like that and be seen. But baseball, like a lot of fans aren't even paying attention to the darn game. Hey,
yes.
Oh, what's the score? Let me look up it. It's whereas basketball, it's so moving fast and everything. You're pretty much living and dying with a bucket here and a bucket there. Baseball is a little different, I feel like.
Are you feeling at all that the A's, when they play tonight, they play Seattle? Do you feel like, oh, here we go, Sacramento? Are you feeling any extra tie to them, loyalty to them?
I'll tell you what, I am a little bit. And one, because it's here in Sacramento, there for the next few years.
Two, because you work for the.
No, but two, because I got to meet a couple of the guys.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Those are my guys now, and so I can adopt them as my team now. I definitely want them to win, especially now that they're in Sacramento. I'm not looking for them to lose. Like, I want them to get hot.
What if they play the Phillies?
Nah, it's Phillies all the way, baby. Oh, let me ask you this. What would you do, Whitey?
Yeah.
What would you do, RJ? What would you do, listeners? The Phillies come to town mid-May.
Right.
But I got a trip to Palm Springs planned when the Phillies are in town.
When are they in San Francisco?
I don't want to go down there to San Francisco. That does not factor in. I need to see them here in my city.
Okay,
you know
then
what I mean?
don't go to Palm Springs. I mean, if you're
or do I come back early? I'm saying, so it's a weekend series, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I come back on a Sunday, but not in time for the game. Do I adjust my flight and fly back late Saturday night?
What are you doing in Palm Springs, if I may ask?
Golf, hanging.
Okay. Because
rest and relaxation.
I've spent a little bit of time there a couple of years ago, and I came away thinking there is nothing here. And what they did years ago is somebody wanted to sell all these houses, so they got all the celebrities that have streets named after them. Dean Martin and Dinah Shore and Bing Crosby, they got them to move in there. They paid them a ton of money to move in, so everyone would go, that's where the stars are going.
So you're not a Palm Springs
I went
fan.
down there. It's like, there's nothing down there.
Dude, there's tons. Golf, casinos. That's my life right now, big fella. Golfing and gambling. 2 G's. That's what I'm nicknamed right now. Plenty of stuff. Got the swimming pool in the back. You know what I mean? Come on,
I got a swimming pool in the back at my own house.
I don't live like you. I don't live like you.
Everybody has swimming pools in Sacramento.
All right. RJ, you got a swimming pool?
Yeah, my Palm Springs house, I think. I'm not kidding. I have a house down
You got to see this guy.
because it's a great town and there's a lot to do, a lot of art, Joshua trees right there. We go to Joshua Tree every time we go down there. It's an interesting place.
Just terrible.
Go when he goes and not much later because
that's
does
like
get
the
120
last week or
degrees.
so. That's like the last week or two. But so I'm thinking of coming back Saturday night to go to the Phillies game Sunday. I think it's a 12-something game, 12:35 first pitch.
Well, it sounds like you got it figured out. Sounds like you don't need much help.
All right.
Yeah. And I was just saying, you could have the best of both worlds. If it's not that far to go see the Giants with your NBC Sports connections. I'm sure you could see the Phillies down there.
Yeah, I could do that. You're right. Yeah, you're right. You're right. All right. I think I might do both. I think I might come back Saturday.
I get it, though. You're saying they're right down. I mean, almost literally right down the
they're
street,
in my
right?
city. Yes.
That's the thing about this year in Sacramento. You're going to go see whoever. They're going to be right down the street this year.
Yeah. Campio says Phillies will be out of the race by then. Not worth watching. We know that's not true. I'm expecting big things out of my boys.
Out of the race in May?
Right. I'm expecting big things out of my boys.
Now, I know we have a text that you want to get to. Do you want to save that for a little bit, or do you want to get into that now?
Well, we got that at the top of the hour. What you got?
Top of the hour, we're going to talk about DeMar DeRozan and his fit.
No, let me get into this text right now.
All right.
I
We'll
don't
probably
want
end
to
up
spend
talking
too
about
much
that top
time
of the hour,
on it.
too. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to spend a whole lot of time on it, but somebody from the 707, why are you guys trying to sell us on winning these games? Even if this team makes a playoffs, they're an early exit. Don't we retain our pick if we don't make the play-in? We'd be better off not getting in and retooling this trash roster.
I'm not trying to sell anybody on anything. To me, it's more fun when you have a game that's meaningful to root for the team to win the game. That's just me. I'm assuming there are other people out there who feel that way. If you want to argue that, no, they're better off not doing that, that's fine. I'm not trying to sell anybody on anything.
Right.
I don't know about you.
I
just think it's more fun to try to win the game.
Exactly. And, I think it's better off to actually make the playoffs, because the pick that's owed to Atlanta is only top 12 protected. So there's a possibility you could miss the playoffs, like this texter is talking about, even miss the play-in, and still lose your pick.
Right.
What if we wind up with the number 13 pick? Well, we lose it anyway. 14 pick. We lose it anyway.
Right.
So why not go ahead and just make it and get it over with?
Yeah. It's just, to me, it's just more fun. And also, look, we met a guy last night in Stockton. I'm not going to tell you everything he said, but this is a Kings fan. Nice guy, came up and said, I listen all the time. And he said, I'll tell you, somebody on your station Oh, you listen to him? Yeah, I want to punch him in the nose. Like, why? Well, he's so negative all the time.
Yeah,
so there are
violence.
a lot of fans who would rather hear talk of, hey, this is how the team wins the game. I know it's old-fashioned in this day and age, especially in the NBA, to talk about, you have a game tonight. Hey, it'd be nice if they won it. I know that it's more fun sometimes to talk about the permutations and ramifications of the draft lottery and who you might draft, but I'm old school, I guess, Drapes.
We got
you play to win the game.
Exactly. We got basketball games, meaningful basketball games in the next 10 games. And here's the thing. 3, 4, 5 years ago, we would have loved to have meaningful basketball games at this time of the season.
Absolutely. The Kings have a shot at the playoffs. That is significant. When we come back, the poor fitters, were they right about DeMar DeRozan? We're back with that from the Gold One Center on Sacktown Sports.
It's time for basketball, and Uber Eats is dropping deals on game day favorites to keep you locked in on the action. Like when you're craving a buzzer beater, but also buffalo wings. Or when an upset makes you want to ugly cry into a pizza. And right now, Uber Eats has game day deals from McDonald's, Popeyes, Pizza Hut, Wendy's, and hundreds more local favorites. So you can keep your eyes on the ball and your hands on a hamburger. Order now, only on Uber Eats. Product availability varies by region. See app for details.
Welcome to Staples.
I hear Staples prints it all for any business.
You bet, and we'll beat any print quote.
So if I had a pizza place.
Staples can print signs, menus, pizza boxes.
A landscaping business?
Oh, we can print yard signs, t-shirts, brochures.
How about a pizza/landscaping business? I'll call it Dough and Mo.
I like it.
Right now at Staples, get up to $250 off your print purchase. Hence 4-5 exclusions apply. Visit staples.com/print for offer details. Price match guarantee valid in store and staples.com/print. Visit staples.com/price match for details.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Are you a victim of the timeshare trap and think there's no way out? I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, the original timeshare cancellation expert. And I'm here to tell you that there is a way out. All you need to do is give my office a call. I will send you a timeshare exit information kit absolutely free, explaining how the timeshare industry works and your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free info kit. 800-902-5454. 800-902-5454.
You've heard the saying, penny wise, pound foolish, right? It means you do something that will save you a little bit right now, just pennies, but that ends up costing you pounds in the end.
People put off tuning up their furnace because they don't want to take the time or spend the money to get it done.
But it only takes 90 minutes and costs just $87, which is just pennies compared to the huge problems and expenses that can rack up if you don't get your furnace tuned up.
You'll also save money on your energy bills, and your system will last longer.
So don't be penny wise and pound foolish. Call Bell Brothers for a precision tune-up and professional cleaning today.
Our number is 916-444-1234 or find us online at thenosurpriseguys.com.
The No Surprise Guys, Bell Brothers.
Attention tax accountants. The following message is for you. Tax season is here, and if you're an accounting firm, the pressure is on. Long hours and tight deadlines make this time of year a challenge for even the most seasoned tax professionals. But this tax season, Blue Jay has your back. Powered by generative AI, Blue Jay is the preferred partner solution of CPA.com for tax research. Ask a complex tax question, and Blue Jay gives you better tax answers in seconds. Save time, maximize your clients' refunds with high-speed, accurate, and intuitive AI technology. Built with a library of only the most trusted tax resources, updated daily to keep up with changes in tax. For a limited time, save 40% off at bluejay.com/start now. That's BLUE, the letter J.com/start now. Or text BLUE to 511-511. Save 40% by texting BLUE to 511-511. Tax accountants don't leave money on the table. Stress less and text BLUE to 511-511 today. Tax fees may apply.
Spring is in the air, and there's really nothing better than hitting the open road in a new Honda. Whether you're shopping for new or pre-owned, Stockton Honda has the selection and savings. Plus, get top dollar for your trade. And while life's roads are often filled with bumps, buying from Stockton Honda couldn't be smoother. Wherever the road you travel might lead, Stockton Honda is happy to get you there. Come in today or go to StocktonHonda.com.
Anytime, anywhere, it's all here. StocktonHonda.com.
KHTK HD1 Sacramento, KYMX HD3 Sacramento.
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios, Sacktown Sports 1140.
Your afternoon home for Kings talk and so much more. The Drive Guys on Sacktown Sports.
Here's the injury report, the latest one for the Kings tonight against Portland Trail Blazers. You've got Devin Carter upgraded to available for tonight with that dealing with that illness. Malik remains questionable because of his illness, and Jake LaRavia has been ruled out because of his thumb. And of course, the Blazers have a lot of guys that aren't playing tonight too, Drapes.
Yeah. I was just looking at their injury report. DeAndre Ayton is out. Jeremy Grant doubtful. Time Lord Robert Williams out. Kamara is questionable right now, but they still got Kings killer Anthony Simons.
Yeah,
playing in that.
I just want to address real quickly, the whole issue. Sam brought it up today on Carmichael Dave's show that Vlade's been around, and some people around the league seem to think that he may end up with a spot in the front office. We've seen him around, so that's not a surprise. As always, great reporting by Sam. We'll see where that goes. I know a lot of fans are reacting to that emotionally because things didn't go that well when Vlade was the GM. So that doesn't mean, the fact that he's been around doesn't mean he'll be the GM. So I'm going to wait and see where that goes. But I understand why people would feel like, wait, that would seem like we're going backwards.
Yeah.
But we just have to wait and see. It could mean a lot of things. Right now, I would really doubt that Vlade is going to return as a general manager.
Yeah, and, I wasn't around when he was, GM. Obviously, the drafting of Bagley instead of Luka is the thing that stands out. Are there other things that happened during that time, draft picks, trades, whatever it may be, that gets people up in arms about Vlade?
Yeah, he seemed at times like he just wasn't up to speed on some of the things that GM needs to know. And look, he didn't hire himself, but long story short, when they sent Stauskas and who was it? It was Stauskas, and it was also Jason Thompson and Carl Landry, I think, maybe went out to Philadelphia, and they could have used a stretch provision to do that, and instead they granted Philly a swap pick to do that.
Right.
So that actually ended up, Jason Tatum would have been the Kings pick.
Yeah.
Now they ended up with Fox there, so it's easy to look at that and go, no harm, no foul.
Yeah.
But little things like that could have been bigger things. There were periods during which it looked like, wow, I'm not sure everyone knows how this is all supposed to
go. I remember that because that pick ultimately wound up for the Celtics because they did a swap with the Sixers 1 and 3.
Right.
And, we were like, we get the Sacramento Kings pick, and then the ping pong balls bounced in. It was like, oh, my gosh.
Right.
Yeah, it was that's a bad one there, too.
Yeah.
But like you said, we got Fox out of it, but
yeah.
Basically, so you gave away number 1 pick.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I would be really surprised if that's where it ends up. And I don't know that fans would stand for that, to be honest with you. We'll see. So interesting, something to keep an eye on. I'd be stunned if he were to return as a general manager. Drapes, I wanted to ask you.
Yeah.
We talked about this a lot when the Kings brought in DeMar DeRozan. There were a lot of people in the national media that said, oh, poor fit. We talked about that a lot, talked about reasons why it might not be a poor fit. At this point, if we're being honest, would we say the poor fitters, if you will, were they right? I think maybe I obviously give you a chance to ponder that.
Pontificate.
Yes, of course. I think some of the things that made it a less than ideal fit have been exacerbated by all the moves.
Yeah.
I think he helped initially. You could see where he did fit.
Yeah.
That is, last year we saw the Kings when they weren't making threes, they had no plan B offensively. DeMar DeRozan gave them that. He also was a really good foul shooter, got to the line. Those were things that they didn't do well last year. I think right now the whole thing is not a very good fit. So I don't think it's as simple as, bringing him in was a poor fit. The one area where I think you can question whether he was a good fit is that he's not a very good defender, and that continues to be a problem for the Kings. But it's not like you thought he was a good defender and his defense has fallen off. that's one where you knew what you were getting when you signed him.
I think, and I had some time to ponder this.
Sure.
I think when we talk about was he a poor fit, I think the bigger question is, who did the Kings really want to be? Like, what's their
Yes.
if they want to be the free-flowing Golden State Warriors of yesteryear, probably so.
You're right. You're saying fit what?
Fit what?
Right?
What was like, I don't think we had and here's the thing. Let me ask you this, though. Let me ask you this. So the Warriors historically are a known passing ball movement. Does Jimmy Butler fit in Golden State right now, Whitey?
He doesn't fit their traditional style necessarily.
But would you say it's made
working?
It work?
Yeah.
That's the thing with DeMar DeRozan. Is he the perfect fit? No, but could it have worked? Should it still have worked? Yes. It's working for Jimmy Butler in Golden State, right? They're not saying, oh man, he's a bad fit, put him on the bench or anything like that. And so I say, was it like a seamless, perfect fit? But could it have worked? Yes, because he gave them something, in my opinion, they needed. That it couldn't rely just on shooting threes. Couldn't rely just on De'Aaron Fox bail us out in the fourth quarter. Now you got another fourth quarter guy. And so was it the most perfect fit? No. But was it something that this team needed? I'm going to say yes. But present day, Whitey, I don't even know who fits because I don't know what we're trying to fit right now.
Right. Right.
Who are we trying to be?
Yeah. I'm not sure the team is even sure because it's a matter of, Doug could come in and say, I want the team to be like this, but wait, can we do that? So I think they're sorting that all out. I do think looking back where it wasn't a great fit to bring in DeMar DeRozan was, that Mike Brown had been preaching defense. I just mentioned this. I don't mean to be redundant.
Yeah.
But I know that, when DeMar came in for Mike, it was like, well, that doesn't help what I've been trying to address. So the problem there was, again, you have at least two different visions of what the team's supposed to be. So hopefully this offseason, somebody can come up with a clear idea of what type of team the Kings are supposed to be putting together so that the coach or whomever isn't trying to do one thing and then the GM or ownership isn't trying to do something else.
Well, let me ask you a question. And somebody on the text line says they should try to move DeMar in the offseason. He doesn't fit a free-flowing offense. Also, defensively, he's a liability. And in my opinion, is a bench player at this point in his career. I'm not agreeing with that. But let me ask you this, though, as we talk about this offseason and identity and fit and everything like that. Do you adapt your style and what you want to your best player? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Or do you go out there and draft people? Let's say Monty McNair has this vision. Let's say he wants to be a free-flowing 53s a game. Does he go out there and find that guy and then fill it in? Or because Zach is our best player or Domas is our best player, I'm going to build around those guys and whatever that identity is. See, that's where I feel like we're in a identity crisis, if you will. Who are we trying to be?
I agree.
If we're trying to be a free-flowing offense, as the texter said, well, you need guys that won't hold the ball, But if we're trying to win with DeMar, Zach, or whoever it may be, maybe the free-flowing – because here's the thing, Whitey. You don't have to be a free-flowing offense to win championships. That's not the only way to get it done. You know what I mean? Like, I look at OKC. Shea is kind of ball dominant when you really look at it.
Yeah.
But he's really good at passing, too.
Braves, remember a couple of weeks ago when you were looking at the teams that don't pass the ball much, and you found that there's a lot of really good teams down there at the bottom.
Right, exactly. And so everybody, 2 years ago when Mike was here, the number of passes wanted to be around 300 because that's where Golden State was.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's what we want to be now, or if it is, then this might not be the roster to do that. Mm-hmm. And so we got to decide what we want to be as an organization.
Defensively, we know this isn't a great team, and we know that the idea here, the plan has been to be good enough on defense and to lean into the offense. So when now you're trying to fit the offense together and you've got some issues offensively, sure, there have been times when it's all clicking, but more often than not, there have been problems getting it all fit together, then it's not going to work. Because I still think, as we try to figure out what is the identity of this team, this roster, if anything, I still think they really have to lean heavily into the offensive end.
No, I agree with that. But, I don't know if the dribble handoff or whatever it is. Like, see, so if I'm running an organization, Whitey, I'm saying, all right, I'm looking at my roster. Who is my best player? Who's the guy I think can lead us to the promised land? Now, if there's nobody on there, then you got to make some moves and get that person. But let's say it's Zach LaVine. Then that's who I'm identifying, and I'm building everything around Zach. Let's say it's Domas. I'm building everything around Domas. I need 10 players that can fit around, because that's what wound up happening in Denver.
Mm-hmm.
You get a guy like Jokic. He's our guy. All right, who can play alongside him? Aaron Gordon, you go out there and get.
Right.
KCP, you get from the Lakers. Like, you fill it around. So we need to figure out who's our guy and then make the moves according to that.
Yeah, the Kings, I believe, run a lot more DHO than just about anybody in the league. I know Lyle Murray, we were talking to Lyle Murray about that. So, and if Zach LaVine's not really accustomed to that, if you're doing it more than anybody in the league and it's something that one of, if not your best player,
Zach or DeMar,
with,
right,
then it's like, well, can you be surprised that it doesn't work?
Right. And I think that's why we're in the transition phase.
Yeah.
We went from Mike Brown, Jay Triano, and that kind of offense to now it's Doug, and now with Zach. And another thing too, Whitey, if I'm being honest, I think the DHO is kind of easier to guard now. Like, we need something more complex than just that.
Mm-hmm.
I think, it can't just be all DHO and read and react. It takes the Warriors were able to do it because they had a special bunch. That's not every team is able to do that. And I feel like
their personnel better.
It fits their personnel, and it doesn't fit our personnel as much.
Yeah. We'll come back and look at LeBron climbing up the buzzer beater charts. Anthony Slater, bottom of the hour 2, with the Drive Guys from the Gold One Center on Sacktown Sports.
My wife was like, I want to go to Hawaii and I want to bring the kids. And I was like, whose kids?
Jim Gaffigan. Everything is wonderful.
I spent the entire time applying and reapplying sunscreen, which thankfully makes my skin whiter.
Jim Gaffigan. A night of all new material. Saturday, March 29th. The venue at Thunder Valley. For tickets, visit thundervalleyresort.com.
Big savings are back at Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop. New Hondas are piling up, and that means big savings for you.
Looking to own or lease? During the spring sales event, drive a brand new Accord or Civic. Visit us today at FolsomLakeHonda.com, your one-stop Honda shop.
As a family-owned and operated dealership since 2009, customer service is our #1 priority. Our customers love doing business with us, and you will too.
Folsom Lake Honda, yeah, your one-stop Honda shop.
The Drive Guys, live and local, every afternoon, Monday through Friday on Sacktown Sports.
Manny, too legit. Hope you're doing okay, Manny. Good to have you in the chat. He says, we need Monk and Domas to connect with each other better with the ball, just how Murray and Jokic do. Yeah, Malik and Domas do have something going sometimes, but it seems like the offense has gotten away with that because you're trying so hard to get Zach LaVine in.
And we haven't seen them together for a while. It's
right.
Like, man.
They really miss Malik.
Yeah, they do. They do. And, from another playmaker standpoint, especially Domas, like who's feeding Domas, setting him up for easy baskets.
Mm-hmm.
We need that as part of our offense also.
Yeah. Hopefully Malik's back tonight, but questionable?
Questionable as the last check. Yeah, waiting on the latest injury report to come out in about 15, 16 minutes. We'll have an update then.
LeBron did something pretty cool again last night as far as buzzer beaters goes. He claims up the list of buzzer beaters. Before we talk about what he did on the court, do you have anything to add to what's going on here with LeBron against Stephen A? Who's just everywhere?
It's ridiculous. In this instance, I'm Team LeBron. I think Stephen A. Smith has crossed the line, has gone too far. He's made it personal in the fact that, he said yesterday he want to lay hands on him if LeBron, dare, through it's like, what are we doing?
Right.
And so to me, Stephen A. Smith is a content creator. whatever he can get, content out of, he's going to take no matter.
Of course.
Instead of taking the high road and saying after they had their little meeting courtside, you know what, I'm going to say my piece. But he's trying to keep it alive, I feel like, trying to get more clicks and mention his name more out there. I texted a buddy of mine who knows both Stephen A. and me, and I'll say it like I said, and I said, your boy Stephen A. is playing himself. He's playing himself, man. Go back to talking basketball, hosting your show. Why make it personal? It's not a good look for him. I don't.
Yeah, he plays though, doesn't it? I mean, he's.
But that don't make it right, though. Why?
I know, but
what about dignity? What about being able to hold your head high? You know what I mean? It just because you get paid for doing it doesn't make it right.
Yeah.
I don't know.
One thing I appreciated that LeBron said, it was a clip that I heard on Alan Styles' show today. It's when he was on with McAfee, and he said, look, Stephen A. is missing the point. I don't want to prevent anyone from like criticizing players. He said, that's what you're supposed to do.
Right.
Someone's not playing well. That's your job. I get that. Just don't make it personal. So I appreciated that he understands. I'm sure he bristles at a lot of it, but he understands that the media's role is in part to be critical when criticism is warranted.
Right.
From a basketball standpoint.
Right. And I think LeBron was mad at Stephen A. back in January, I think it was. I plead to you, LeBron, as a father,
that's
to end this.
Line crossed,
right there. He's saying, be a good father, be a better father, and it's like, and Adam Silver was asked about the conflict.
Yes.
Did you see that? He said, sometimes it seems that in other sports that I'm a fan of, and when I watch the coverage, particularly around the games, it seems to be more celebratory. I feel like in basketball, it seems to be more adversarial. It's not lifting guys up. It's pointing at what guys did wrong. They didn't make the shot. They're not as great as Jordan. I would have done this. It's more, it doesn't celebrate. For instance, Whitey. And NBA Today did a good job today because they did start with the buzzer beater, the game winner, LeBron and them. But we've had some great games over the last week or so nobody's talking about. It's just all this negative stuff. And so it doesn't happen that much. Why do you think it happens? Do you think, first of all, it happens more in basketball?
The negativity?
The negativity.
Probably because there are more players are bigger brands, but it happens a lot in football too. Well, I mean, in terms
I'm
of
talking
media
with
people,
the biggest star,
media
Patrick
people
Mahomes.
Criticizing
Patrick Mahomes ain't getting dragged for anything. I'm talking the game's biggest stars, Kevin Durant, LeBron.
You're right. It happens more in basketball.
Right. I feel like the biggest of the stars get the most shots in terms of most criticism.
But I think it's good for the league. I don't enjoy it. I tend to tune it out.
Yeah.
But it seems like it generates more interest.
Maybe, right. More clicks. And that's what it's about nowadays, right? More money. It's but nobody's hammering Ovechkin. You know what I mean? Ain't nobody taking shots at, oh, he wants to be the great one. He'll never be the great one. He'll never be Wayne Gretzky. Nobody's really saying that, right? That's not, I don't know.
If
nobody,
they are, I'm not hearing it. But
nobody in baseball is saying, oh, Aaron Judge will never be Babe Ruth, or Mookie Betts will never be Ted Williams, or who. Like, I don't know. Why did we compare more in basketball than any other sport? I'll say that. I'm confident in that.
Speaking of comparisons, LeBron last night with a buzzer beater for the Lakers in the win over Indiana. So tip in with 2 seconds left or 2/10 left. So for him now, he is tied with Kobe Bryant and Joe Johnson with the second most winning buzzer beaters in NBA history with 8, behind only Michael Jordan with 9.
Jeffrey Jordan.
Yeah.
With 9.
Do you know who the last Sacramento King to have a buzzer beating game winner was? I can tell you when. It goes back to November of 2022.
Yeah, I think that was the game De'Aaron Fox in Orlando.
That is correct.
Hit the 3. Yeah.
Yeah.
Come on, Whitey, your boy was on the call for that one.
Yeah. How about before that, December of 2021?
Chimezie Metu.
That is correct.
Dallas.
Yes, that's right. Very good.
You got another one there? Keep them going. I like this.
Yeah. December.
Harrison Barnes, Phoenix.
December 9th, 2019. Not Harrison Barnes. I remember this game.
December. Hold up. Don't tell me.
Yeah.
2019?
Uh-huh.
No, Harrison Barnes, I thought, had a couple game winners before that. You sure about that?
Okay, you're right. He did. Okay, I missed it. Harrison Barnes, pardon me, March of 2021 against Cleveland.
Yep, Cleveland. And
yeah.
I thought he had one Phoenix also.
You're correct.
Okay.
Yes. October of 2021.
All right. Okay, big fella.
Bingo.
I'm on it. All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Do you know, though, and I think this was before you were here, right? December of 2019.
Yeah, I think that was a Buddy Hield one.
That was Nemanja Bjelica.
Oh, Bjelica.
Yes.
Who was that
against the Rockets?
Rockets. Okay.
Yes. Yes.
Right.
But I mean, you were right on
No,
that.
thank you. Appreciate
I have
that,
the list
man.
here, and you're like, nope, you're wrong. And you were correct.
All right.
Yeah. Kings could use a buzzer beater.
We could use
They've
one.
also, suffered a couple buzzer beaters.
Yeah.
The last two buzzer beaters they've suffered. One just happened, Kawhi, and then the
Kawhi.
other one was you got criticized for
Dame time.
for leaning into it as much
Yeah.
as you did.
Yeah. I remember that one. I've been on the wrong side of some heartbreakers over the years. That one hurt. That one.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I was there for the Tyler Hero, foul.
Oh,
and
yeah,
everything.
yeah.
That one was rough. I was there for the Golden State one. Who was it at Golden State?
Wasn't that when
Clay or?
Yeah. But didn't
Same official too, I think.
Yeah, and then the Kings got the ball to Herter to try to win it.
Yeah.
And Clay hammered him.
Yeah,
butchered him.
right.
Like took pruning shears to his forearm. Like play on.
Right.
Yeah.
No harm, no foul. No harm, no foul.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We need one tonight, though. Not like a win tonight. Like we need the good vibes. When's the last time? I guess Cleveland was the last good vibe game.
Yes.
Here. But it's been too few and far between.
Yeah. I think fans just want to see a sense that the team, it's not so much playing hard. Fans get mad, they're not playing hard. They just need to play like they have an idea of what's going on.
Yeah.
And I think we've seen this year. When things are going on with Mike Brown, even last year, it looked like it affected the play on the court. And then when the De'Aaron Fox drama was going on, it looked like it affected the play on the court. And I think everything, just the uncertainty of everything right now, I think it's affecting them on top of the fact that there's so much uncertainty in terms of who are you? What do you want to do?
Yeah.
What are we doing?
Yeah. You're right, because I don't think it's an effort thing with the team. It's they're not connected.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They don't look like a united team out there. Not saying there's any factions or anything like that among the players, but they just don't look like, to Whitey's point, they know what they're doing out there at times. It's and a lot of times you see, all right, it's your turn. All right, now it's my turn. Now it's, instead of just whatever the flow of the offense dictates, that's who's getting the shot. The last couple of teams we've seen, Whitey, their offensive sets blow ours out of the water. We're not getting any good looks.
Yeah.
Any open shots.
Mhm.
It's so shocking how, and no reason. I mean, it's understandable why we struggle scoring. We're taking tough shot after tough shot after tough shot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just the sheer math of it dictates that you're not going to win that way. And even, this is a little more rare, but I think there are times when the offense produces a good shot and it's being passed up because of just a little bit of hesitation.
Yeah, that's true. I've seen that too. You're right. I mean, I've seen it with Zach multiple times. One thing we are seeing, though, is Keegan isn't passing up anything lately.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? He's pulling it. And I'm okay with that, man. I'd rather have that than, especially from guys that can knock him down. Like, I want to see Zach do that. Just pull it, big fella. Give me a 24-shot attempt game tonight.
Yes.
I'd be okay with that.
Yeah. And getting back to the text that you addressed earlier where somebody said, why are you guys selling us on trying to win these games? They're better off not winning them. Bottom line is a lot of fans are feeling that way because they just don't have faith that this team is going to do anything in the postseason. And I know it doesn't look like it right now. I still think there's a chance. If you play Dallas, well, I'm not going to try to talk anybody into anything.
Yeah.
I still just think it's more fun to root for a team to win games. And this is still laid out in front of this team.
Right.
But I will say, and we talked about this yesterday, things don't go well tonight. It gets a lot harder to do that, frankly.
It really does. And then, you play an Orlando team that's, owned you at least earlier this season. And so I think, I want to know from Kings fans, when you look at Domas, and I brought this stat up, Domas and Zach having only played 14 games, can we really, and I'm asking the question, Whitey, maybe we can, maybe in your eyes we can we really gauge what we have and whether it'll work off of 14 games right now. And we're talking two of our best players have only played 14 games together. I'm not giving the organization an excuse. I'm literally, I don't care who it is. 14 games is not enough to really develop championship level chemistry. That's what we're asking our team to do.
How many games, whether you have it this year or not, how many games do you need ideally? I mean, I've heard it said you need about 20 games to get.
Yeah, I think 20 to 25 games. And that's just to have an idea, okay, can this work or not? And,
so maybe at the end of this year, we'll have a large enough sample size to draw some conclusions.
But here's the thing. It's not 3 games here, then 5 games in a month. Like, I would like a nice 10 to 15, 20 game stretch to really gauge it.
Anthony Slater, NBA writer for The Athletic, joins us with his views of what's going on around the NBA and with the Kings. Next on Sacktown Sports.
Did you know colon cancer can be detected early or prevented through regular screening?
I have detected Around Earth is the greatest lie ever.
Okay, Roger. My uncle just passed away and I inherited his cockatoo, Roger. He was a member of the Flat Earth Society, so Roger picked up on some of his rhetoric. Anyway, screening, such as a colonoscopy.
Screen these! Screen these!
Roger that, Roger. Moving on. Colonoscopies can detect early-stage colon or rectal cancer or even polyps, which are abnormal growths that can turn into cancer over time.
I'm a Flat Earth walker.
Come on, Roger. What did I do to my uncle to deserve you? You don't get to choose what you inherit, just like colon cancer. Unlike Roger here, I believe in science. And science says that if colon cancer runs in your family, you're more likely to develop it yourself. Talk to your doctor about when you should start screening. Find out more at coloncancercoalition.org. A message from the Colon Cancer Coalition.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, it's bigger game days and bolder fight nights. I mean, where else can you find a scratch kitchen that always comes in clutch every day from lunch to late night? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Are you tired of your tee shots ending up in the adjoining fairway while the rest of your foursome is hitting it down the middle? Well, experts will tell you that being properly fitted for golf clubs will help you strike your drive center cut. The Hagen Oaks Player Performance Studio and its team of trained PGA professionals are ready to help you get rid of your banana balls and duck hooks. Hagen Oaks Indoor-Outdoor Player Performance Studio fittings are available 7 days a week. Make yours today by calling 916-808-2531. That's 808-2531.
There's no better time than now to get yourself into a brand new Jeep because it's Jeep Adventure Days at Sacramento Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, offering the best deals in town and a selection other dealers are jealous of. Stop on by. They're just off of Business 80 across from Hagen Oaks Golf Complex. Sacramento Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram.
Tom's Watch Bar has the best happy hour in Sacramento, starting with $5 specials all day, every day, plus select $7 appetizers and $12 entrees, with 360-degree viewing and game day vibes that match being at the game. Tom's Watch Bar is the ultimate game day experience for sports fans.
Finally, an easy way to find home improvement contractors. Just visit subcontractorsunited.com and simplify your search for home services professionals. From cabinets to windows, roofing to plumbing, Subcontractors United is an easy, simple way to find and hire a home improvement contractor. And you never have to give up personal information. So no harassing phone calls like you get from those other websites. Subcontractorsunited.com is sponsored by D&D Cabinets and Savage Design.
Sacramento's premier country music festival, Country in the Park, is coming back May 16th and 17th at Cal Expo with Bailey Zimmerman, Billy Currington, Cole Wetzel, Nate Smith, and more. You'll enjoy food trucks, rock walls, and a mechanical bull, line dancing, and more. Single-day GA tickets start at $52 at CITPFest.com. Country in the Park, May 16th and 17th with Paul Mitchell, The School, Sacramento, and Stoney's Rockin' Rodeo. Find out more at CITPFest.com.
If you're not looking for a brand new car, at Elk Grove Honda, we've acquired some of the best pre-owned cars we can find. We've kept only the best of our trades, and our buyer has found some of the finest pre-owned Hondas available in Northern California. You can see for yourself at elkgrovehonda.com. Whether you purchase a brand new Honda or a like-new pre-owned Honda, your car buying experience will be the same. We have the right Honda at the right price. You'll find us in the Elk Grove Auto Mall, Highway 99 and Elk Grove Boulevard.
I gotta get an Elk Grove Honda.
2025 Rivercats baseball is finally here. Kick off the year with exciting baseball, brand new giveaways, and all the fun of Sutter Health Park. Whether you're with friends or family, don't miss a moment of Rivercats action. Get your tickets for the first games of the season at rivercats.com.
Your afternoon home for Kings talk and so much more. The Drive Guys on Sacktown Sports.
Coming to you from the Golden One Center, the Kings taking on the Portland Trail Blazers tonight. Can the Kings snap this losing streak and start to turn things around? In the chateau here, we have TR who wants to tank for Cooper Flagg. He says that's the answer to all the problems. Little late for that, though. I mean, that ship has sailed down the river. It's probably through the Carquinez Straits by now. If you wanted to do that, and I don't know that you would have wanted to do that, but if you wanted to do that, that's something you had to do before the season even started, because now, even if the Kings were to bail out on the rest of this year, which is unlikely, even if they did that, the odds of getting Cooper Flagg, minuscule. With more on that, nice enough to join us, outstanding NBA writer for The Athletic, Anthony Slater. How are you today, Slates?
You guys, you're talking Cooper Flagg already? There's still playing basketball to be discussed. There's still a path to the 8th seed.
Thank you for that. I did want to ask you, I know Alan Stiles was talking about this yesterday. And I don't mean to put you on the spot here, Anthony, but I know you remember this. When Dallas tanked out of the play-in race 2 years ago, how did that ultimately work out? They got Derek Lively, but they got fined, right?
Yeah, but I mean, I would pay a fine for Derek Lively. Derek Lively is a really good center. Now, again, you have to actually get Derek Lively at 10. I mean, look, think about the Kings last year. I believe, if I have this right, if they won in that game in New Orleans, they would have given their pick to Atlanta because they would have made the playoffs, and I believe it was lottery protected. So the fact that they lost that game meant they got Devin Carter. Is that worth it? I don't know. I mean, Devin Carter's actually shown some mildly intriguing things over the last week or so. We'll see what his ultimate upside is, but that's the type of prospect range, you're talking about one to protect or not. Obviously, the Kings right now are kind of in a similar conversation with it. Does that protected pick go to Atlanta or not? But, I guess to your original point, it was a minor fine because I believe it's because Mark Cuban, publicly said they were tanking. He used the word tank. The Kings could purposely lose down the stretch, just not say anything about it. And there's 8 other teams across the league doing that right now that won't get fined. You just don't want your owner going out and being like, yeah, we're trying to lose tonight.
Yeah. It's yes, to be clear, we are tanking, TANKING. Yeah. And the league had to act there. I wanted to ask if you have anything to add. Perhaps you don't, but Sam today, was on the station. He was on with Carmichael Dave, and he said, quote, Vlade Divac has been around a lot more lately, and that's another talking point in league circles, end quote. Do you have anything to add to that and the likelihood, based on anything you may have heard, of Vlade returning to the Kings front office in any capacity next year?
Yeah, I mean, Sam's delicate with his words. I mean, I've kind of you heard similar rumblings. It's more like curiosity. I will say, he was sitting right next to Vivek during the De'Aaron Fox return game. He was down in LA the next game. He was visible and out there with Vivek at tense moments in a season that's been kind of full of them. I don't have any additional, reporting in the sense of do I think he's getting this job or not, or angling for this or not. Sam is more plugged in that sense. But even Sam, as I listened to what he said this morning, and I have plenty of conversation with Sam. He's purposely being very delicate about what he's saying. He's not reporting that there's something necessarily in the works, but it's something that people in the league are talking about as it relates to a Kings front office, which, by the way, we all know this. It's very much in flux, especially with Wes Wilcox walking out the door.
Slates, I was going to ask you about Wes. Was that Wes seeing the writing on the wall, or was this him saying, I really do want to go to college. This is a great opportunity. Or did he see the writing on the wall, had a crystal ball into his future here in SAC?
Yeah, from my understanding, Wes still it was possible that he was going to be a part of the front office, into the future. I mean, as we did reporting on a few of our stories in the past, there was wondering if Wes might even see a more elevated role with the Kings. I don't have a cement level of deeper reporting on this, but from what I understand, like Utah really came after him hard, and from a salary perspective, brought an impressive amount and lured him in a sense to Salt Lake City. I don't know that it was necessarily he was just scattering, trying to find the first path out of Sacramento. But at the same time, I mean, I think it's fair to say anyone right now on the Kings, that works for the Kings, is looking at how this season has gone and kind of wondering about the future, right? And if something appealing comes along, I think anyone in any job is more willing to, have their eye wander if they feel like what's going on around them, what's going on above them, whatever you want to call it, is in flux.
Anthony Slater from The Athletic, nice enough to join us as he does every week. Slates, what do you think will determine whether DeMar DeRozan is a King again next season?
Well, who's making the decisions? How this season ends will matter. DeMar's desires. This is a league where players hold a lot of power, as the Kings have experienced over the last couple of years. And does he see a path forward? What does the roster around him look like? He does. It's kind of the waning days of his career. I think we all know that. And if the Kings hit some type of a rebuild this year, and if there's a front office that comes in that changes direction, then maybe there is like an amicable parting of ways. Maybe there's a place they can get DeMar. Maybe they can get a pick out of it. But again, I don't think he wants to think about that quite yet, because as all of this is going on, like they are playing big games coming up. You know what I mean? Like these are NBA level competitors that until the clock has expired on their season, they're going to be like, hey, yeah, let's see what happens in a play-in game, a one-game opportunity against the Mavericks or Suns. Let's see what happens, if they win that game. So I don't think he's thinking quite too far ahead yet, but if we were to predict, I mean, this doesn't seem like the type of situation DeMar DeRozan would want to play out the final years of his career in. Will be my prediction.
Right. Gotcha.
Anthony Slater joining us. Slates, what's the future of Doug Christie? When the team was winning, looking good, I thought, organization definitely bringing him back. Now you see some change in the front office. The team's not playing as well. Does Doug's future hang over these next 10 games, whatever happens, or do you think it's pretty much already been made up?
I think if it was already made up, it would already be announced, right? You know what I mean? Like I think, at any point the interim tag could come off. That's got to be something that's worked on. I do think how the season was going to end, as we've talked about, right? Every week, I feel like, we have the conversation of like how this thing plays itself out the rest of the season could dictate his long-term future, because in a lot of ways, I think it dictates the future of the people making the ultimate decisions. And if there's a new, head of basketball decisions for the Kings next season, like typically, you would want them to be able to choose who they want their head coach to be long-term. And maybe it's somebody that is very Doug Christie friendly and believes that he's, the right guy for the job. Obviously, Doug brings a level of, kind of local popularity and verve to the job. But they, the rose is a little like, off the bloom or whatever that term is, as far as like, they faded down the stretch. So I think his future, like everyone in this entire situation, like everyone typically in sports when losing happens, their future is more in flux than if they were succeeding to a greater degree.
Mm-hmm. Want to ask you, of course, about the Warriors, Anthony. I know you're spending a lot of time covering the Warriors. Are they getting a couple tough losses in a row? Steph's banged up. Are they getting nervous about having to fight their way out of the play-in again?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the Clippers passed them last night because the Clippers have the tiebreaker. I think it might come down. Like the Kings play the Suns right on the last game of the regular season, and that could be for home court advantage in a play-in game. That could be for even getting in the play-in game. The Warriors have something similar maybe brewing right down the road at home on that last afternoon of the regular season, April 13th. They're facing the Clippers, and I think there's a decent chance that game might be like for the 6th seed and getting out of the play-in. So to answer your question, they have a tough little 3-game stretch. I'm in New Orleans right now. Like That's obviously very winnable. Then they're at San Antonio. But right after that, they end a 2-week road trip with at Memphis, at LA. Then they flip around, go home for a back-to-back against the Nuggets. I think they've got some losses ahead of them, and they don't really have much margin for error. So I could certainly see them in the 7-8, which, as I've been predicting all year, it just feels like it's always going to come down to Kings Warriors playing game. So maybe that still might happen.
He's been saying that for a long time,
right? Hey, let me ask you this: it seems like the Jimmy Butler acquisition has fit and worked for Golden State. There's a lot of talk around here about DeMar not being a good fit. Why was Jimmy able to fit in so well with Golden State, and now people are having some questions about DeMar's fit here?
I mean, Jimmy just does a lot of things on the court. He defends at a high level. I believe he's a 5-time all-defensive player. I mean, DeMar DeRozan is a historical, legend scorer, right? But DeMar DeRozan's not an all-defensive guy. You're not going to put him on, tough assignments. He's not going to grab, 11 tough rebounds in traffic. He's not quite the playmaker that Jimmy Butler is. I just think what the Warriors needed, the all-around glue game that Jimmy Butler is given with the level of toughness. DeMar DeRozan is very respected, but nobody talks about his physicality defensively, his ability to play up. Like Jimmy Butler can play some real sturdy, power forward for the Warriors, stuff like that. So I just think their difference in their game is Jimmy Butler's just more of an all-around player. And by the way, certainly not as legendary a scorer and a mid-range shooter and a jump shooter. Like DeMar DeRozan has scored a lot more points than Jimmy Butler has in his career, but Jimmy Butler just does a lot of other stuff on the floor.
All right, Slates, we appreciate it. Enjoy the Big Easy. We'll talk to you soon. Thank you.
All right, fellas.
All right. When we come back, we'll tell you one thing that MLB, can you believe this? One thing MLB on this opening day has actually gotten
They
right.
got something right?
They got it right.
All right.
Tell you about that next year with the Drive Guys on Sacktown Sports.
Tonight, Kings and Trailblazers. Game night with Scott Marsh and the high flyer Henry Turner starts at 5:30. Tip off at 7.
The Kings play here on Sacktown Sports.
Sacktown Sports 1140.
As seen on Crazy Rich Asians, Silicon Valley, and more, it's Jimmy O Yang, Big and Tall Tour.
She was like, babe, what's your love language? I'm like, what? A love language could be words of affirmation. I was raised by Asian parents. Their love language is verbal abuse.
Saturday, April 12th, the venue at Thunder Valley. For tickets, visit ThunderValleyResort.com. Don't miss them, Sacramento. Jimmy O Yang, Big and Tall Tour.
Huge savings now on new 2025 Silverado at the Maida Chevy Silverado Supercenter.
Save $11,000 off MSRP after rebates every new Silverado LT Turbo Max with Maida Chevy's exclusive all in-stock pricing. And Maida Chevy has one of the largest selections in the Sacramento area. $11,000 off new Silverado at the Maida Chevy Silverado Supercenter. Now that's big, huge. See them all at MaidaChevy.com. Together, let's drive.
Not available with special financing, leasing, some other offers.
Made a great deal at Maida.
Get ready for the high-octane action. It's the 76th season opener at the Stockton 99 Speedway, March 29th. Watch the intense racing action as the Stockton Late Models, NorCal Mini Stocks, NorCal Legend Series, Pure Stocks, and Fast Car Solutions Mini Modifieds tear up the track. It's fast, it's thrilling, it's non-stop action you don't want to miss. Family-friendly fun, food, and excitement for everyone. Gate open at 5 p.m. Racing starts at 6. Stockton 99 Speedway, where speed and excitement come to life. March 29th. Be there for the 76th season opener. For tickets, visit Stockton99.com.
Spring has sprung, and so have the deals at Kohl's Spring Savings Event. I just got a comfy tee for just $7.99, a cute swimsuit for $19.99, 40% off patio furniture for my backyard, and so much more. So don't wait. These deals are too good to miss. Hurry over to Kohl's to save big on warm weather essentials during their Spring Savings Event today. Select styles. Offers end March 30th. Some exclusions apply. See store or Kohls.com for details.
T-Mobile home internet is all about speed, value.
What you doing, Zach?
I'm rehearsing. There are so many benefits. You got to talk fast.
T-Mobile home internet ranks #1 in customer satisfaction for home wireless internet by J.D. Power.
Wow, you are good.
Try singing it. T-Mobile has price lock.
They won't raise your rate on internet.
Hulu and Paramount Plus on there.
On there.
Get T-Mobile home internet all in for just $55 a month with auto pay and any postpaid voice line.
Additional terms apply. For JD Power 2024 award information, visit jdpower.com/awards.
Get ready, NorCal. The Lodi Beer Fest and State Barbecue Championship is on Saturday, April 26th at the Lodi Grape Festival grounds. There will be something for everyone. Craft beers from over 50 breweries, live music, outrageous food, games, plus taste barbecue from world-class barbecue teams. For tickets and more information, go to grapefestival.com. Must be 21 years of age or older to attend. The Lodi Beer Fest, where great brews meet legendary cues. Saturday, April 26th in Lodi.
At Fisher Investments, we may seem like other money managers, but we're different.
Are you really that different than the rest of us?
We are. As a fiduciary, we always focus on what's best for our clients.
What services do you offer besides investing?
We have a team of specialists in financial planning, estate planning, and more.
Your clients rely on you for all that?
Yes, we ensure clients receive unparalleled service at every step of the relationship.
Okay, but you still sell commission-based products, right?
No, because we believe that's a conflict of interest. We prioritize service over sales goals.
So, then how do your fees work?
We have a simple and transparent fee that's a percentage of our clients' portfolios. So we do better when our clients do better.
Wow, we're more different than I thought.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at fisherinvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
It's a myth to think you don't play golf well enough to get fitted for golf clubs. The professionals at the Hagen Oaks Player Performance Studio would argue that playing the game with golf clubs properly fitted to your body and swing characteristics is the best way to improve your game and have more fun on the golf course. With a professional staff of fitters, all the major brands of equipment, and cutting-edge technology featuring TrackMan, the indoor-outdoor Hagen Oaks Player Performance Studio is worth a look. See for yourself, Fulton Avenue at the Cap City Freeway. Schedule your fitting at 916-808-2531, 808-2531.
The Drive Guys, live and local, every afternoon, Monday through Friday on Sacktown Sports.
I hadn't seen this yesterday. Something Evan Sidery posted yesterday. Drapes, we were talking about how many games we need before we can draw any conclusions about Zach LaVine, DeMar DeRozan, and whether they fit here or not. Evan Sidery yesterday posted this. When Domas, Zach, and DeMar DeRozan share the court, the Kings are 15th in offensive rating, 28th in defensive rating, or a net rating minus 5.6, which is 24th. So as he says, an average offense coupled with a horrendous defense certainly is not a long-term winning formula for Sacramento. But again, there's also, and I know that there's no way around it, that's not good, but there's also two other people on the court at the same time with those three. And yeah, clearly things are trending in a negative direction. But with everything the Kings have invested in these players, it's worth it to continue to explore your options and see how well it comes together here, if it does.
And how about this, Whitey? I said they played 14 games together.
Yeah.
One of them, Domas, played 1 minute.
Yeah.
Another, he played 12 minutes.
Right.
So really, they only played 12 games together.
Mm-hmm.
And so, you know, Evan Sidery, the numbers are the numbers, not arguing that. Really small sample size. And to your point, you might need to have two defenders, Keegan and another defender, alongside those guys on the floor with those guys.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the big issue now seems to be Zach LaVine and Domas. I mean, those are two guys that should be able to play well together. And so far they've talked about it. It's not, it's not a matter of, he won't give me the ball. It's just they can't find that comfort level.
Yeah, they aren't on the same page just yet. And, you know, when I look at a fit, what we need, and every team needs this, but I'm talking about what we could use is some players we saw this week, Whitey. Caruso, Drew Holiday.
You're talking about two-way players.
I'm
not
talking about
two-way here in Stockton.
Exactly.
You're talking about both ends of the court.
High level, both ends of the court guys. And I'm not just talking 3-and-D guys, because the guys I mentioned could do it. They could put it on the deck. They could create for others.
Yeah.
Like that's what we need, I think, when we talk about around Zach, Domas, and DeMar. Like,
see, I remember Monty talking about that fairly recently. Was it before the deadline? And I know things got kind of crazy. But I remember him talking about we're trying to find players that can, the wings that can play at both ends of the floor.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
yes.
Right.
That's what this team needs. They bring in a guy like Jake LaRavia who does a little bit of that, right?
Yep,
And it just
yep.
stands out like a sore thumb.
Exactly. And, we got to bring back Jake. We got to find a way. Yeah, you're right. I mean, this guy hustles. He defends. He can knock down the shot. Every team could use guys like that. I may, do an exercise, make a list of, those kind of guys, because here's the thing. Caruso can play a point guard. Drew Holiday can be a point guard. Derek White can be a point guard. A point guard today isn't dribbling it up like Bob Cousy and running it. You know what I mean?
I do.
A point guard is a heady basketball player who, in my opinion, sacrifices his offense for the betterment of the team. For instance, Whitey, I don't consider Steph a point guard. I really don't even consider Dame Lillard a point guard, like the kind that we need anyway.
Right.
I need a guy. Give me a Drew Holiday. A Drew Holiday on this team, Whitey, he would fit in perfectly. Oh, my God. Dude, if I'm Monty, I'm opening up the war chest to bring in that type of player.
I'm glad you mentioned that, because a lot of people now are saying about the Kings, they need a true point guard. And I heard somebody on the station this week talking about what a good fit Chris Paul would be. And I'm not seeing that, Drapes. Now, Chris Paul is a pure point guard. I get that. He is that. But to your point, those guys aren't that common anymore.
Right.
And I think it's too like building a team with Legos to say, okay, well, they've got this, they've got that. Now you just need the point guard.
Yeah.
I don't think it's that simple. And I don't know that a better point guard, sure, you can help, but I don't think that's something that brings us all together. Am I right?
Not all point guards are created equal.
Right.
And to your point, I don't know if we need a floor general kind of point guard.
There you go.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know because if we're
a lot of people think the Kings do.
If we're talking about the ball sticking in DeMar's hands, I think sticking in Chris Paul's hands too.
Yeah.
I think we just need a high level. You know who I would take? I mentioned Caruso. I'd even take a TJ McConnell coming off the bench kind of guy too.
Yeah.
Somebody like
push it.
Yeah. Somebody that, like Anthony Slater said about Jimmy Butler, does some of the little things that don't show up necessarily in a box score, like a Swiss Army knife. Like a guy like Caruso can do so many. Did you see some of the defense Caruso played out here too? People don't tell. Hey, Caruso's a lockdown great defender. I'm gonna make a list of potential off-season trade targets that would fit in with our guys.
I have a question.
Uh-oh.
It's just a question.
Oh, shit.
You're probably going to come after me. People are going to come after me. I'm just asking the question. You're talking about a guy who plays point, defends, does a lot of things. Can Devin Carter, does he have a chance to become anything close to that? When he came out of college, that was the word. The scouting report, those tend to be more glowing than they need to be.
I could see that.
A guy who can do a lot of things.
I could see that. Yes, I could. But
can't
not
do
in this short term. Not overnight.
Right.
Derek White didn't become Derek White until he got to Boston, really. Then everybody's like, whoa, look at this guy, Derek White.
Yes.
Like, I think for Devin Carter, it'll probably take a few years, 3, 4, 5 years. We're talking next
I like
season.
Devin Carter.
I like him too. I see a little bit of that Derek White in him. And for him, it's not about putting the ball in his hands all the time or anything like that.
Yeah.
It's about the way he meshes. The thing about Derek White, which is so great, Whitey, we know how great he is defensively. But he's clutch also. Whenever they need a bucket and Tatum kicks it out, he's one of their most clutch players. And so I can see Devin Carter in time getting to that point.
Gold, silver, and diamonds.
Uh-oh.
Ben Simmons is 6'10".
Nah. He can't shoot, though. He can't knock down anything outside of 3 feet. Yeah.
What the Kings don't need is another player who, whatever he does, has clear limitations.
Yes.
Right?
Right.
We're talking about a guy who does a lot of things, not a guy who comes in and, yes, he can do this and that.
Yeah.
He can't do that.
Yeah.
Ben Simmons can't shoot.
Right. That's the thing. And you talk about shrinking the floor. I mean, no room to operate. He's just he's not a good fit for us. I'm really going through the rosters here, Whitey, and come up with guys that would be a perfect fit for Sacramento and realistic targets. You know what I mean? We're not getting Drew Holiday. It is what it is. We're not getting Derek White. OKC ain't trading Alex Caruso. But who's the guys in that kind of mold, if you will, that we could possibly get?
TR says Devin Carter's a 2 guard. He ain't no point guard. The G Money 01 says get a pick for this draft for Carter. What? People down trade Carter for a pick in this draft?
In this draft.
You just got him.
Yeah, it's
that's a fair point. That's a fair question.
Somebody said.
Is he a point guard? I think he can be a point guard. And I'm not saying, as you say, the role has changed. I think Devin Carter can play point guard. And I think it's a great point you raise that I'd overlooked. It takes time sometimes. That's a difficult position to play.
100% it takes time. Now, when you say he can be a point guard, let me ask you this. Is Alex Caruso a point guard? I'm just asking.
Well, like you said, he can play point guard.
He can play point. Drew Holiday can play point. Derek White can play point, but not in your traditional Chris Paul Rondo style. How do you view Devin Carter? Can he be a floor general? Is that what you're thinking, or more?
I think he's capable of that. Okay. And I know that he's got to work on his handle, but it also depends. Not to dodge your question, I'll answer. I would say yes. I do think he can do that, but I think you have to keep in mind also, depending on who's here, if Domas is here, as we always say, a lot of the offense goes through Domas anyway.
But and I'm being 100% honest. Does Domas fit with Zach and DeMar? That's what I'm talking about. We need to figure out who's our guy and are we building around? So let's say Domas is the guy. Then maybe you don't need that floor general. You know what I mean? But a guy like Derek White, a guy like Drew Caruso, they could do both if needed. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I wonder what our direction is going to be this offseason.
Yeah. And I know that, as we're talking here, go back to some of the conversations we had even before Zach LaVine was here and Casey Johnson, I think it was, and others have said, well, when it worked for DeMar and Zach in Chicago, I think even DeMar said this, it's when they had Lonzo. Yeah.
And to me, Lonzo sort of fits into that mold of the Drew Holidays, the Derek Whites, guys that aren't necessarily dominating. And the thing about Lonzo, Kings fans, I might open up the war chest to get him. And I know people are like, oh, Chicago Bulls, West. But in terms of ball movement, he's elite, Whitey. It's never sticking in his hand.
Yeah.
And that's what we're talking about, too.
Yeah. How the Kings can get back to being the Kings when we come back. And we'll also get back to baseball and what baseball is finally actually doing right. More from the Gold One Center. Drive Guys, Sacktown Sports.
Still getting around to that fix on your car? You got this. On eBay, you'll find millions of parts guaranteed to fit. Doesn't matter if it's a major engine repair or your first time swapping your windshield wipers. eBay has that part you need, ready to click perfectly into place for changes big and small, loud or quiet. Find all the parts you need at prices you'll love, guaranteed to fit every time. But you already know that. eBay, things, people, love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Hey, everybody, it's your boy Kyle Draper. You know I'm a big guy, right, everybody? So sometimes, even my SUV or sedan, I want a little more space. Maybe I want to take the fellas to the football game or to the basketball game. Maybe I want to go golfing. Well, Mercedes-Benz of Stockton has the perfect solution. They have a Vans Fleet Center, and they understand your business needs. They understand your personal needs as well. They have a great inventory and a huge selection, and plus, they have the perfect van to power your fleet, including the new fully electric e-Sprinter alongside those reliable diesel options. So if you're looking for a new van just for personal reasons or even for your business fleet, head on over to Mercedes-Benz of Stockton. And get this, you can take advantage of their exclusive limited time 0% APR financing offer for up to 60 months on select models. So head down to Mercedes-Benz of Stockton or online at mbfstockton.com and tell them Drape sent you.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-9861. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-9861. That's 800-575-9861. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Finally, an easy way to find home improvement contractors. Just visit subcontractorsunited.com and simplify your search for home services professionals. From cabinets to windows, roofing to plumbing, Subcontractors United is an easy, simple way to find and hire a home improvement contractor. And you never have to give up personal information. So no harassing phone calls like you get from those other websites. Subcontractorsunited.com is sponsored by D&D Cabinets and Savage Design.
At Elk Grove Honda, not only do we have a great selection of pre-owned cars at very fair prices, but every one of our pre-owned automobiles are treated with kid gloves with a 182-point inspection that covers everything from unibody to tires to brakes and engine filters. Then our cars receive a mobile oil change and fresh fill-up with full synthetic mobile oil. We know you have lots of choices of where to purchase your next car. Come to Elk Grove Honda, home with a 182-point inspection and mobile oil change. We're in the Elk Grove Auto Mall, Highway 99 at Elk Grove Boulevard.
It's Carmichael Dave talking to you about my good friends at American Energy. You're in the Sacramento area. You know how the seasons work. They are a-changing right now. So American Energy wants to help you stay warm for the rest of the cold season, but help you stay cool during the warm season. Best way to do that, make sure your system is operating safely. So right now is the time to take advantage of half off a tune-up, $24.50. They cut that right in half, and if you want a diagnostic, guess what? You can't beat free. If it's free, it's me, and now it can be you. And also, it's the end of the season blowout. $4,000 off a new system plus any rebates. That $4,000, that's a direct drop from the sticker price. It's a great deal. Check them out at theaeway.com or an instant quote, or give them a call at 916-520-9990. That's 916-520-9990. Tell them your good buddy Carmichael Dave sent you.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
If you're not looking for a brand new car, at Elk Grove Honda, we've acquired some of the best pre-owned cars we can find. We've kept only the best of our trades, and our buyer has found some of the finest pre-owned Hondas available in Northern California. You can see for yourself at elkgrovehonda.com. Whether you purchase a brand new Honda or a like-new pre-owned Honda, your car buying experience will be the same. We have the right Honda at the right price. You'll find us in the Elk Grove Auto Mall, Highway 99 and Elk Grove Boulevard.
I gotta get an Elk Grove Honda.
KHD1 Sacramento, KYMX HD3 Sacramento. From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios.
Sacramento's official home of the 49ers.
San Francisco.
Sacktown Sports, 1140.
Your afternoon home for Kings talk and so much more. The Drive Guys on Sacktown Sports.
That's for you, RJ. Huey Lewis in the News. I know you told us something about Huey Lewis in the News yesterday, but I can't remember now what you said.
RJ's band.
Maybe you just named them as one of the bands you.
It was my first tour ever.
First tour ever, yeah.
Okay. I was the guy that hung the speakers on stage left.
How about that?
That was about it.
Stage left, okay.
And I heard this song every single night.
Oh, yeah. We had fun yesterday in Stockton, and thank you again, everybody with the Stockton Kings who helped us out yesterday and took care of us. That was a lot of fun, and we really appreciate the hospitality, Stockton style, 209 style.
We got the Keon Ellis bobblehead.
Yeah.
To the team store. I got a couple of T-shirts for the kids. No, it was a great time, man. Good vibes down there, too.
Yeah,
you know,
and I helped out with the sock toss.
Oh, yeah, you did. I was wondering where you were going, dude. You, just went off on your own, and I'm like, where the hell Whitey going over there? And you went up and helped the lady.
Yeah.
Who, her little fastball wasn't too fast.
Yeah, because fans are throwing the socks onto the court for people that need socks.
Yeah.
And because of the hockey rink that they have there, sometimes there's a space between the seats and the basketball floor. And this lady was trying to throw the socks, and she couldn't do it.
Not getting close.
She needed a cutoff.
Oh, yeah.
Hey.
And that was you, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So that was a lot of fun. And the Stockton Kings with a big win over Sioux Falls guy, whatever they are.
Yeah.
Jason Thompson was there.
Jason Thompson on the staff over there. No, they had some players. Tony Snell, who didn't get into the game. I guess he's just,
Yeah.
you know.
Remember Josh Christopher was a high draft pick a couple of years ago.
Dallas he played with, right? I believe. Right? Does that ring a bell?
I don't remember. I think he was drafted by Atlanta or Houston or somebody,
Okay.
but I don't
All
know.
right.
I don't know
Yeah.
who he ended up playing with. But yeah, you see some good players in the G League. Obviously, better players in the NBA, but the quality of play in the G League is no joke.
Yeah. High level players. We saw Nasir Little, who's a bona fide NBA player.
Yes.
In my book. We saw how about our boy Mason Jones putting on a show down there? Mason dude, Mason, his usage got to be through the roof, man.
Yeah.
Every time he got the ball, he was doing something with it. Looking for something to happen.
Jay and I were talking about how maybe, you know what, maybe that's actually what hell is. It's like being on the Sioux Falls Skyforce, so that because the Miami Heat's your parent team. So like they tell you, oh yeah, we're gonna bring you up to Miami. You can leave Sioux Falls, and it never happens. And you're always stuck there in Sioux Falls.
Stuck in Sioux Falls.
Yeah, instead of Miami.
Let me ask. Sioux Falls got to be,
but it's not Miami.
It's not Miami. I was about to say Sioux Falls got to be a halfway decent city,
sure
though, right?
Fine, but it's not Miami. That's
true. That's true. And talk about that plane ride to go, join.
Yeah.
It's not like Stockton and Sac, Wow. All right, Whitey, I'm looking here. I know we got a lot to get to. I'm still looking for our point guard of the future. So I may be quiet here for the next couple of minutes.
Well, wait a minute. Didn't the Kings just a short time ago, it seemed like they had point guards everywhere you looked, there was a point guard.
Yeah, but it wasn't the correct point guard. It wasn't the right point guard. It wasn't the good fit. I'm looking for the perfect fit here for the Sacramento Kings.
Somebody, Curtis, texted me and suggested a guy that I know you like. I don't like this guy as a fit for the Kings, and I don't know if you can get him anyway, but I think you like him, so I'll mention Trae Young.
I do like Trae Young. You got to tell me what we're giving up. Are we building around him? Could him and Domas play together?
He needs the ball a lot. He needs to get a lot of
that's
shots
what I'm
up.
saying.
I don't think I have enough shots for him.
Like, how many guys are we giving up? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, is it just Trae and then some other guys around him? Are we gutting our team? I do like Trae Young as a player. I thought the Lakers, if they didn't get Luka, I thought that would be a good fit for them with LeBron.
Every game we're talking about the Kings and their struggle to find that identity. We talk about it. Doug talks about it. The players talk about it. Coach Christie, pardon me. I think if the Kings are going to find it, we touched on this earlier, Drapes, the Kings, to get back to being the Kings, they're really going to have to lean into offense like never before. They're going to have to be a team that poses so many problems at the offensive end. They can get away with the offensive issues. That's the only path forward for this roster. If things don't go well in the offseason, you get a chance to retool whatever. But right now, that's the only way forward for this team if you're going to accomplish anything, in my opinion. It's got to be leaning heavily on the offense. Get out and run if that's what it takes. And I know that, that's a iffy fit. Well, you're just going to have to do it. Shooting more threes, I think that's also going to be something they're going to have to lean into, because playing the half-court game, it seems like this offense can't function, and then you're just getting pummeled at the other end.
We do what you're asking them to do? It sounds great in theory. White.
Of course.
Sounds great. Lean into the offense. But what kind of offense are you talking about? Fast pace up and down? Can we actually achieve that? Because I got to imagine the coaches want them to push the ball, get up and down, and it's not happening. So can we realistically achieve that?
I think that's realistically your best option is what I would say.
Yeah.
When you look at everything else you can do, it's easy to say that won't work. Well, something's got to work, right? And to me, that's your best option. Especially given the way, I know it was just one game, but they really shot the three ball well.
But they got hammered, Whitey. They got blasted.
Yeah, but
OKC, it was the defense that let them down. The shooting numbers were good. Well, the 3-point shooting numbers were good.
They were. So are you suggesting that they need to then, I'm not trying to put words in your mouth, but are they better off slowing it down to try to paper over that porous defense?
No, it's not about that. It's how about just be better defensively? They can be better. Whitey, we saw them improved defense right after the All-Star break. You lose to Golden State, and then the 7-8 games right after that, you were locked in defensively. What I'm seeing from this team and where we are struggling is we are not locked in on either end of the floor, and I'm going to talk about defensive especially. Guys, our hands are down. We're not closing out. We're falling asleep a little bit on three-point shooters. I think it's a mental, we are not locked in like we should be 48 minutes. When I watch OKC, they're locked in. Whatever that, both sides of the floor. Boston, both sides of the floor. They're not, falling asleep, ball watching. It's a mental thing. I don't think it's, he can't guard this guy and this guy is just getting right. I think we're not locked in mentally as a unit defensively. That's just me.
Clearly they're not. I think defensively they have no belief in what they're doing individually. I know that Luke, before he left, he had some things that he'd throw some traps in there, and Coach Christie has tried some things that have worked. So
we haven't seen much of that, though.
I know. I think
lately.
teams have figured it out or something. But, DeMar is just – and Slate's touched on it. DeMar DeRozan is not a very good defender. I think with DeMar and Malik – and DeRozan on the floor at the same time, DeMar and Malik and Levine, I meant. Thank you. There you go.
We got Selena.
Having those three on the floor at the same time, and with Sabonis, that's a tough bunch defensively. I don't know how obviously you want those guys on the floor, but that's a tough bunch. And what's happening is the defense has been so bad that it's starting to drag down the offense because you're having to walk the ball up because other teams making baskets.
Yeah,
and then in the half court, they're terrible.
I hear your take, but I go back to even when it comes to DeMar, the defensive effort is not there. Like, you know how it is, Whitey.
Oh, I agree with you.
A lot of defense is effort. A lot of defense.
Yes,
trust me. Denver ain't got a billion lockdown defenders. They ain't got no Bruce Browns littered all up and down their roster or anything like that. Like, a lot of it is effort, and that's what I'm talking about, being locked in. It's having a personal pride. It's having on this day, you ain't getting it. It ain't going to be easy. And I feel like at times we allow it too easy for our opponents.
But what do you do with DeMar DeRozan if he's not closing out on the corners? He's DeMar DeRozan. What are you going to do?
That is the conundrum in the association, the NBA.
Yeah.
When your best players at times aren't locked in. Like, think about it. We talked about Trae Young, LaMelo. I talk about my boy Allen Iverson. Sometimes players think the best way to win is to score the basketball instead of locking in on them defensively. And so I think Mike Brown talked about it also. Players got to hold each other accountable. The coach can only do so much. Players got to, who do we have on? Mike Bibby the other day, Eddie House the other day. When they played, guys held each other accountable, and that's what we need.
The Kings schedule is easing up just before it gets really hard again. We'll look at that when we come right back to the Go One Center. Drive Guys, Sacktown Sports.
All guests and callers join us from the Folsom Lake Honda hotline. Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop.
On the move? Got somewhere to be?
Take Sacramento Kings basketball with you. The Sacktown Sports app will let you stay connected to your passion. Never miss a moment of Sacramento Kings basketball with the Sacktown Sports app.
Whitey here, reminding you that not all grills are created equal. When buying a new grill, every detail matters. For March, grab a $149 gift with purchase of every new Napoleon Prestige stainless steel grill, including a pizza lover starter kit and much more. More March savings include up to $79 off Rogue models. Napoleon grills are built different, built better, built to last, with a lifetime warranty and premium stainless steel that boasts quality. See how Napoleon will help you achieve the perfect grilling experience. Visit Green Acres Nursery today with your best selection of Napoleon grills and accessories.
Big savings are back at Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop. New Hondas are piling up, and that means big savings for you.
Looking to own or lease? During the spring sales event, drive a brand new Accord or Civic. Visit us today at FolsomLakeHonda.com, your one-stop Honda shop.
As a family-owned and operated dealership since 2009, customer service is our #1 priority. Our customers love doing business with us, and you will too.
Folsom Lake Honda, yeah, your one-stop Honda shop.
The Drive Drive Guys, live and local, every afternoon, Monday through Friday on Sacktown Sports.
All right, Drapes. Can the Kings find a way to lean into their offense without pushing the pace? You know what I mean? I mean, I know when you're poor defensively, if you play at pace, you're giving the other team more opportunities to take advantage of your poor defense. So maybe you're better off, but that will require excellent execution in the half court, and this team does not seem capable of doing that. If you're going to be an offense first team and play at pace, you have to execute in the half court. And I know you just had some numbers there. Boston,
I got some numbers.
Since what is that? Since the
All-Star break?
Yeah.
Since trade deadline.
Since trade deadline.
And I did that because of, what our team is now, Zach and Jonas and all that. Boston dead last in pace since the trade deadline. What's their record, Whitey? 18-4.
Wow.
But of course, they're a great defensive team too, though. They lock in defensively. Clippers also a slower pace. Knicks a slower pace than us. Actually, Knicks defense hasn't been that good this season relative to other seasons. What's interesting? How about this here too? Defensive rating since the trade deadline. Ooh.
This is only pretty, isn't it?
Yeah, well, the only playoff team, we're 22nd. The only playoff team with a better defensive rating or a worse defensive rating than us is Denver. Everybody else, we go to, man, Boston's 10th. It's just, to me, it's about, you can't beat anybody allowing Whitey 58, 59% from three.
Oh, I agree.
You know what I mean?
Agree.
Like you got to lock in. Like, and Doug preaches this. Make other teams feel you. I don't think we're doing that. I'm telling you now, if Portland comes in here and feels comfortable, gets whatever they want, we got a big problem, Sacramento. Because these guys, I can see OKC, that well-oiled machine, Boston, hell, even Giannis. Giannis is hard to defend. But these guys, no offense to them, they're not on the same level as our recent opponents.
That's what Coach Christie's talking about when he says we have to be a 90% team, 90% plus team. He's talking about the effort.
Yeah.
When he says, I tell the players that all the time, we can't be an 80% team. So this is a team that has to play harder than the other team every night, in part to overcome some of those shortcomings that are caused by not being familiar with each other. And also, when you're a bad defensive team, you got to work harder at it instead of work less hard because it's not going to matter anyway. Why should I go and close out?
Right. Yes, exactly. Well, and somebody raises a good point. TR says, and I want to know if you agree with this. No one on Kings can play defense except Keon and sometimes Keegan. Do you feel that no one? See, I don't view it that way. I view it as those guys, Keon and Keegan, are locked in defensively. Like their defensive effort is 100%.
Of the starters, I would say, yeah, I mean, that's fair. I think Keon's not even a starter all the time. The other guys are not good defenders, but they're not the only guys on the team that are good defenders. I think LaRavia he can be a good defender, not great, but I think he's been good since he's been here. Devin Carter, especially for a young player, I think has shown some promise, but I do think you've got a couple of guys who, no matter how you scheme it up, I'm talking about Malik and I'm talking about DeMar and I'm talking about Zach LaVine. They're just not going to give you much at that end.
How about this? 916, Whitey, this might be directed towards you.
Yeah.
I will not hear any Malik slander on defense. He's the only one who takes accountability and works at it, his defensive side.
Good for him. I don't think he's a very good defender. I love Malik. And maybe that was Malik. I think Malik listens. So nothing against Malik, but I mean, you watch it. When you're Doug Christie, Coach Christie, and you're trying to figure out who's guarding who some nights, it's tough with this bunch.
Well, I think the hard part for Doug, and, we've talked about this, when your best players aren't necessarily your best defenders, how do you know what I mean? How do you hold them accountable and get them to play that? Because Doug is preaching this. but you can't yank DeMar. You can't yank Zach.
Right.
Because then we're talking the offense is really going to struggle. And these are 20-something million, 40-something million players. These are the guys you build around. And so you got to ride with those guys.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And that's so difficult when you know how it is when your best players set an example for you that goes beyond anything you say.
Right.
To your team.
Right.
Yeah.
I will say this about Jason Tatum. He did not come into the league as a defender, but he has improved dramatically. And his effort on defense has become so much better. And so it's not like, and so when I look at our guys, it's like, have some pride defensively. You guys can lock in, you know? But I also feel at times, do we get upset when guys score on us? You know what I mean? Do we get upset when there's an open 3-pointer?
You're asking, do we take enough pride, personal pride in our defense?
And or because the game is 48 minutes, all right, there'll be another possession. We'll come down here and score and everything is fine. I don't know, man. I don't know. I urge listeners to watch tonight. Just watch at the, I guess, because I'm watching OKC, Whitey. I'm watching every possession. They're fighting through screen. Like you can feel them. They are working out there. That's what we got to see from our guys.
Mm-hmm. The Kings schedule here starts to ease up a little bit for what that's worth because you got Portland, then you're at Orlando.
Yeah.
You're at Pacers. Pacers are 12 games over.
They've actually been playing great, even though they lost last night.
But then you're at Washington and then at Charlotte. So, those two teams are off
tanking.
Yeah. So there's some wins in there, but then you got at Cleveland, at Detroit, Denver, the Clippers, and Phoenix to wrap it up.
So your last 5 games, your hope is that Denver, and the Clippers might already have something wrapped up, but it's not looking like it. Like Clippers right now, the 6th seed, Warriors right on their heels. I think those teams, Denver maybe not as much because we see some guys resting, even though Jokic is battling something. But those other teams, Phoenix, that last game could be for a spot in the play-in, like all the marbles. And so it's a tough schedule, man. That's why you got to get these wins here.
Yes. So philosophically, you're not sure you agree with the idea that the Kings, in order to be what they want to be, they're going to have to lean in to the offense.
I think it sounds good, but is it realistic? When we say, I want every team to lean into the off, how about lean into the deep? Like, I don't know if we can play that up and down breakneck style. Here's the thing about the Sacramento Kings, because everybody's going to point to what happened third quarter against OKC. I feel like our energy is tied to us making shots. Instead of, this is the style we're playing, this is what we're doing, it's, shots are being made, now let's turn it up. And that's what I felt. And then as soon as shots stop falling, the energy falls, the pace falls, and so I want us to be better offensively, but is it just, if we start making some shots, can we be that team?
To my eye and to my recollection, and maybe the numbers don't completely bear this out, I would guess that they do. When we've seen the Kings at their best this year, at their very best, for stretches, sometimes for whole games, it's when they're getting up and down the floor. And I understand the reasons why. That might not be best for this team because they got defensive issues and they're older, and DeMar doesn't play that way. Yes, but when you think about it, in my mind, when you see them playing their best, like you said, that third quarter was an example, although they lost the game, they're getting up and down the floor. I think they have to create turnovers in the open floor. However they can do that, and they have to get out and run. That's when the Kings have been at their best. And to me, if they're going to be anything better than a mediocrity, that's the path forward for them.
But if I'm hearing you correctly, it starts on the defensive end. You can't run up and down if you're not getting stops.
That's true. Yeah, that's true.
And when you're getting those live ball turnovers that you were just talking about, I agree. Our team looks so much better when that happens.
Yeah.
We just don't do it enough.
Which is probably true of like 90% of the teams that
right.
ever played basketball. I get that.
Right. That's true. I just think it's tough, man. I just think And maybe that's why we may need to see more Keon, more Jake LaRavia when he's healthy, because those guys do seem to, be in the passing lanes, get deflections more. The energy seems to ratchet up when those guys are out there.
And they also have to be, when they are in the half court, when they're not able to get out and run, they have to be a lot more efficient. As you said, they have to start producing better shots.
Yes.
Because, and I'll watch again tonight, but I watched against Oklahoma City, as I mentioned earlier. I was just keeping track of the quality of shots, who's getting better shots, whether they go in or not. And it was a total mismatch.
Can we say, though, because I don't want to overreact, Whitey, that's the best team in the league. That's the best defensive team in the league. Now, if we're struggling and not getting open shots,
fair enough.
These guys,
yeah,
then
right.
But we played two of the top defensive teams in the league, in Boston and OKC back to back. Of course, the offense is going to look horrible against those guys.
But I'd also say that down the stretch of a handful of winnable games, the offense, the half-court offense, has failed to produce the quality shots when it should. And that happens sometimes, but I think that's an issue. In the half court, they have to produce better shots and be more efficient, and then they have to capitalize. When they're getting out and running, doesn't it seem like they miss a lot of dagger threes? Aren't there a lot of times when they get out and open floor, it's like, oh, it's a big three.
Yeah.
It didn't fall. Again, that's basketball, but the Kings seem to miss more of those than other teams.
Yeah, I agree. Like, and you hear the crowd,
yeah,
right, yeah.
It's like a guy missing a putt,
right.
Right.
And you feel the energy, the air being let out of the arena, 100%.
Oh, we're going to check in on the Blazers. Kevin Calabro, the outstanding, legendary Blazers play-by-play voice, is going to join us next here. Drive Guys, Sacktown Sports.
Keegan Murray plays here.
Keegan scores another three-pointer. Keegan Murray knocking it down for 23 points. Matched De'Aaron Fox for game scoring honors.
Sacktown Sports is your proud home of the Sacramento Kings.
Sacramento weather is brought to you by Consolidated Communications.
I'm meteorologist Heather Waldman in the KCRA3 Weather Center. A somewhat mild start Friday with temperatures in the lower 50s. Lots of clouds, but only a few showers through the afternoon. Highs will be in the mid-60s. Get the latest forecast on the KCRA News and the KCRA app.
For your home internet, choose more speed and less frustration. Fidium Fiber Internet was built for reliability. It's perfect for streaming sports, watching TV, and working from home. Check out fidiumfiber.com for speeds up to 2 gigs.
When it's all on the line, you need a big-time closer, and that's especially true when it comes to your garage door. That's why I proudly recommend National Garage Door. Whitey Gleason here for National Garage Door. Whether you're looking to repair an existing door or get a brand new one installed, or maybe you got an emergency with the garage door and you need help and you need it now, you need National Garage Door. Family owned and operated. They've been around since 1974 because service is their number one priority. National Garage Door are the region's PSE broken spring experts. Very common problem with garage doors, that old broken spring. No one's better at repairing them and getting you back on track than National Garage Door. Our garage door made it clear with the protestations it was making when we opened it and tried to close it that it was time to move on. And this really impressed me. Kevin from National Garage Door said, yeah, you know what? We could probably get this one operational again for you. You could get a little more use out of this, but it was old. It was beat up. It was time to go. We got the new garage door, and we're very happy that we did. National Garage Door sells quality Rainer branded garage doors. They offer sales, service, and installation on all residential and commercial doors and operators. So if you have garage door needs, old one's coming apart, you're looking to improve your curb appeal, let National Garage Door come through for you in the clutch and be your closer. 916-638-4554. That's 916-638-4554. National Garage Door.
Drivers who switch and save with Progressive could save hundreds. With that kind of money, you could go big time and skip the regular line at the airport and pay for speedy security. Imagine not having to quickly unpack and pack at the place you already came packed to. And wearing your shoes the whole time you're there? You can't put a price on that kind of luxury. Well, actually you can, and you paid for it. Switch to Progressive and you could save big time for speedy security. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, not available in all states. Potential savings will vary.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Are you a victim of the timeshare trap and think there's no way out? I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, the original timeshare cancellation expert. And I'm here to tell you that there is a way out. All you need to do is give my office a call. I will send you a timeshare exit information kit absolutely free, explaining how the timeshare industry works and your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free info kit. 800-961-5544. 800-961-5544. Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Hi, I'm Chuck McDowell, the timeshare cancellation guy and founder of Wesley Financial Group. And I want to set the record straight. I am not an attorney. I've never wanted to be an attorney. And the truth is, I really don't even like attorneys. If I sound like an attorney or if I look like an attorney, I'll apologize. But what I've learned in my 15 years in the timeshare cancellation business is you don't need to be an attorney to get folks out of their timeshare. At Wesley, we've helped over 40,000 families cancel their timeshare without me being an attorney. And I want to share with you how we do it. Just give my office a call, and you will not talk to an attorney. And I guarantee if we take you as a client, we'll get you out of your timeshare, or you'll pay nothing.
Call now for your free timeshare exit info kit. 800-822-3910. That's 800-822-3910. 800-822-3910.
Sacktown Sports is bringing you the biggest live events in town. Whether you're rocking out or dancing the night away, check out the Sacktown Sports live events calendar. Get ready for an epic night out. Papa Roach and Rise Against take over Golden One Center March 29th. That same night, comedy legends Jay Leno and Arsenio Hall bring the laughs to Hard Rock Live Sacramento. Get ready to laugh your socks off. And for all you country fans, Lee Bryce and Walker Hayes hit Ironstone Amphitheater June 21st. Then head to Santa Rosa for Country Summer with Sam Hunt, Kane Brown, and Dustin Lynch June 27th through the 29th. Then back to one of the most beautiful venues as Parker McCollum takes the stage August 16th at Ironstone Amphitheater in Murphys, California. Don't miss out. Find more info and score your chance to win tickets at sacktownsports.com. Again, get all the details on the hottest events happening in town and your chance to win tickets at sacktownsports.com.
Finally, an easy way to find home improvement contractors. Just visit subcontractorsunited.com and simplify your search for home services professionals. From cabinets to windows, roofing to plumbing, Subcontractors United is an easy, simple way to find and hire a home improvement contractor. And you never have to give up personal information. So no harassing phone calls like you get from those other websites. Subcontractorsunited.com is sponsored by D&D Cabinets and Savage Design.
Your afternoon home for Kings talk and so much more. The Drive Guys on Sacktown Sports.
Say hey, it's opening day. Los Gigantes over the Reds today, 6-4. And this evening, the Las Vegas A's of Sacramento will be visiting the Seattle Mariners. But who cares about that, Drapes?
Right.
We got basketball tonight at the Golden One.
Should be a good game tonight. Both teams trying to get into that play-in tournament.
Mm-hmm. Nice enough to join us with more on that. The outstanding TV voice of the Blazers, Kevin Calabro. How are you today, Kevin?
I'm great, gentlemen. A beautiful sunny day here in Sacramento.
Yes. The last time we talked, Blazers were in the process of nosing their way into the verge of the play-in picture. Are they looking at tonight as a kind of a crucial game in terms of their play-in hopes, Kev?
Yeah, you know, we in the media and, of course, the folks that cover them on a daily basis and travel with them certainly are looking that direction. You know, when we asked Chauncey about it, he says, you know, nothing happens unless we win tonight. So our focus is on tonight, the game plan in Sacramento, and taking on a ball club that should be, you know, pretty angry and after having lost 4 in a row here at home. So I think that's the stance of the coach and his staff. And when we talk to the players, they will let us in a little bit into their world and admit that, you know, time's running short. That they're excited about the possibilities of making a play-in, and certainly, you know, it's been great incentive for these young players to play for something that's out there, that's something that's at stake. And, you know, Chauncey has said so much about that. You know, he's happy for his guys, and certainly he's really enjoyed coaching now in his 4th year and gotten his club to really buy in defensively since about mid-January. They've just really been very, very good defensively, and they've solidified, their rotations and so forth. And so life is good in the Blazer camp right now. They're feeling pretty good about themselves as they go out on this 5-game road trip.
Hey, Kevin, what's up, man? Kyle Draper here. You mentioned, Chauncey, 4th year. Why do you think it all clicked for the organization? Why do you think all of a sudden, mid-January, things did it have to take time? I ask you that because Doug Christie is, very new at this, not even obviously a full season. And I think he's still trying to get his team to mirror his identity. It seems like you guys sort of have finally figured out how to mirror Chauncey's identity. Why do you think that clicked like that?
Yeah. Hi, Kyle. Yeah. I think because we've had so much turn over in terms of the roster. I was about to say turmoil. And actually that would be an appropriate word when you consider Chauncey's first year. He's hired by general manager Neil Olshey, who is out of the organization about 4 months later, gone. The president of the organization left in November of that same year. There are a rash of injuries, notwithstanding those to Dame and to C.J. McCollum in years 2. And then, of course, the trade of Damian Lillard when he asked out that summer after Chauncey's second year. So a lot of upheaval. And to their credit, the new general manager, Joe Cronin, he's righted the ship. He's led this Blazer team into some calm waters. And I just think Chauncey's got the kind of roster and personnel, Kyle, that really can adapt to his style of coaching and what his vision is. And that is getting stops on the defensive end, being tough for 24 seconds on that shot clock, forcing turnovers, and then running and picking up the pace. And it helps to have acquired a guy like Denny Abdia in the offseason. When I say personnel, adapting to Chauncey. And then the discovery of Tamani Kamara. Our staff knew about him. Our coaches knew about him. He was absolutely essential and was key in that Nurkic trade down to the desert to Phoenix that brought DeAndre Ayton up here along with Tamani Kamara. And he's been the point of the spear defensively. He's just been phenomenal. I mean, a guy at 6'8" that can play all 5 positions and pressure for full court, just a tireless young player who also can shoot the 3 extremely well. He's a legit 3-and-D guy. And, the Blazers haven't had that in this organization since Nicholas Batum, realistically, and that's been several years ago. So I think those 2 players really stand out as Chauncey's kind of players.
Let me ask you this, though, Kevin, piggybacking on that, because you talked about the change in the front office and at the president's role, but yet they kept Chauncey on. Whose decision was that? Was that an ownership decision?
Yeah, I think that was an ownership decision. He had a 4-year contract. There were some people in media that were talking about after last year, they felt like, the Blazers needed a change and needed a new vision. And I don't know, they may have been right, but the organization, decided to stay with Chauncey. I think giving him credit for what he had, withstood the first 2 years and knowing that, they really had not built an adequate team around him. And when they went back to work, went to the drawing board, made the acquisitions like they did with Scoot Henderson 2 years ago. He's, obviously now in his second year, and then get Donovan Clingan, who's defensively really gives the Blazers a backbone, and a terrific screen setter, 7th pick in the draft last year. So I think it was just a matter of, collecting the right players. And, I would compare the 2 situations. You asked initially, the question was about Sacramento, how you can compare it to Portland. I would just say this, that when you consider a superstar like De'Aaron Fox, Damian Lillard, when they are asking to get out of that situation, it leaves an enormous void in your organization. It leaves you wondering, what you've done wrong. And you really, it takes time to deal with that. I'm sure Sacramento's having to deal with that, and Doug Christie's having to deal with that. You can't just overnight replace a guy like that. Now, you got a great one in Zach LaVine. I love watching Zach LaVine play. But, De'Aaron had been a staple here, and it led you really to some heights that you hadn't achieved in several years. So that takes a while, in my opinion, from the outside to really adapt to.
Yeah, that's Kevin Calabro, voice of the Blazers. You mentioned something about the young Blazers playing these meaningful games. And yesterday, Kev, Drapes and I were down in Stockton. We were talking to Quentin Crawford, the coach of the G League team. And I asked him the same thing here. In your view, how beneficial is it in terms of the development of a young player, which applies to some of the younger Kings as well, how important is it to the development of the young players to be playing games that actually matter?
Well, you just gain a lot of confidence, and you get a feel for what the intensity level is going to be when you make the playoffs, and it gives you, I think, definitely an incentive to make the playoffs, because there's just nothing like playoff basketball in the NBA, nothing. And so you get at least a hint of that, I think, in this environment that they're in and the way they've been playing. It's beneficial certainly for guys like Scoot Henderson, to realize that every possession is crucial. You got to take dear care of the basketball. He's been, just a really nice, young, dynamic player. You can see a lot of upside. He's 21. Shaden Sharp's 21 years of age too. And, he's been on a nice little tear here. In fact, his career high for an average is against Sacramento with 19. So he's looking forward to playing the Kings. And he's been very good over the last 7 games. He's averaging like 19 points and nearly 6 rebounds. So for 2 young guys like that, the 21-year-olds, it also helps you kind of mold together as a team. If you're going through this together, I think it brings you together as a basketball team. So it's been very beneficial. And like I say, it's always fun to watch from a media standpoint, watch the scoreboard, see what Phoenix is doing, what's Dallas doing, what's Sacramento doing on any given night.
Yeah. The great Kevin Calabro joining us here on The Drive, guys. Kevin, I know the 3-point defense is great for you guys. What about your 3-point offense? What are you looking for tonight from you guys offensively?
Well, again, it's all the offense is predicated on the defense. It's getting stops. It's taking care of the paint. Now, the Blazers are very good in second chance points. They crash the offensive glass. Donovan Clingan is just a terrific rebounder, 8th in the league in total block shots. So he does a nice job in the paint, and so that's where the Blazers kind of build from the paint on out. Tamani Kamara, still listed, I think, is questionable for tonight. He's shooting 37% from 3-point range. Shaden Sharp is shooting under the league average. He's at about 31%, so that certainly can improve. Anthony Simons, I'm looking for him to bounce back. Went 2 for 12 against the Cavs and 1 of 10 from 3-point range. He's just 1 shy of tying his career high for threes made in the season, 212, and he's shooting 37% from 3. So tonight, I'm really keying on Anthony Simons. You talk about offense, a lot of it comes from Matt, who averages 19 a game for the season. That's going to be an interesting matchup tonight, because Keon Ellis really digs in and plays terrific defense. I don't know about the status of Malik Monk, but another guy that can really defend 1s and 2s. And so I think Simons and the matchup on him, and how Sacramento and how Doug goes about, trying to take the ball out of Ant's hands and bothering Ant. Usually teams are blitzing him, double teaming him a lot. So he's sure to see, I think, a lot of that type of defense tonight against Sacramento.
Yeah, our fingers crossed here on Malik. Last we had, he was still questionable. He's been dealing with some kind of illness. So, Kevin Calabro, we appreciate your time very much, especially, as we always say, on a game night. So, thank you. We'll see you here in a little bit. Thanks for your time, Kevin.
All right, fellas. Always a pleasure.
All right, Kevin.
We appreciate that. When we come back, as we get ready for the Kings and the Blazers tonight, could the last 10 games determine Doug Christie's fate as coach of the Kings? Next with the Drive Guys, Sacktown Sports.
It's Carmichael Dave talking to you about my good friends at American Energy. You're in the Sacramento area. You know how the seasons work. They are a-changing right now. So American Energy wants to help you stay warm for the rest of the cold season, but help you stay cool during the warm season. Best way to do that, make sure your system is operating safely. So right now is the time to take advantage of half off a tune-up, $24.50. They cut that right in half, and if you want a diagnostic, guess what? You can't beat free. If it's free, it's me, and now it can be you. And also, it's the end of the season blowout. $4,000 off a new system plus any rebates. That $4,000, that's a direct drop from the sticker price. It's a great deal. Check them out at theaeway.com or an instant quote, or give them a call at 916-520-9990. That's 916-520-9990. Tell them your good buddy Carmichael Dave sent you.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
Attention tax accountants. The following message is for you. Tax season is here, and if you're an accounting firm, the pressure is on. Long hours and tight deadlines make this time of year a challenge for even the most seasoned tax professionals.
But this tax season, Blue Jay has your back. Powered by generative AI, Blue Jay is the preferred partner solution of CPA.com for tax research. Ask a complex tax question, and Blue Jay gives you better tax answers in seconds. Save time, maximize your clients' refunds with high-speed, accurate, and intuitive AI technology. Built with a library of only the most trusted tax resources, updated daily to keep up with changes in tax. For a limited time, save 40% off at bluejay.com/start now. That's BLUE, the letter J.com/start now. Or text BLUE to 511-511. Save 40% by texting BLUE to 511-511. Tax accountants don't leave money on the table. Stress less and text BLUE to 511-511 today. Tax fees may apply.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, the ultimate lunch lineup boasts wall-to-wall sports and scenic views. When you're hungry and in a hurry, the Scratch Kitchen delivers lunch in the clutch. I mean, where else can you order a 29-degree draft beer and a quickie combo on your lunch break? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Twin Peaks Scratch Kitchen scores every time. Dig into hand-smashed burgers, chef-inspired flatbreads, and more at your local lodge.
Taxes was feeling so stuck. Sitting in traffic, squeezing into a parking spot, all to squeeze in getting tax help during your lunch break. Now Taxes is a TurboTax expert who does your taxes for you, while you go about your day getting real-time notifications about their progress and the most money back guaranteed. Now this is Taxes. Intuit TurboTax. Get an expert now on TurboTax.com. Only available with TurboTax Live Full Service, real-time updates only in iOS mobile apps. See guarantee details at TurboTax.com/guarantees.
T-Mobile home internet is all about speed, value.
What you doing, Zach?
I'm rehearsing. There are so many benefits. You got to talk fast.
T-Mobile home internet ranks #1 in customer satisfaction for home wireless internet by J.D. Power.
Wow, you are good.
Try singing it. T-Mobile has price lock.
They won't raise your rate on internet.
Hulu and Paramount Plus on there.
Get T-Mobile home internet all in for just $55 a month with auto pay and any postpaid voice line.
Additional terms apply for J.D. Power 2024 award information. Visit jdpower.com/awards.
Whitey here reminding you that not all grills are created equal. When buying a new grill, every detail matters. For March, grab a $149 gift with purchase of every new Napoleon Prestige stainless steel grill, including a pizza lover starter kit and much more. More March savings include up to $79 off Rogue models. Napoleon grills are built different, built better, built to last, with a lifetime warranty and premium stainless steel that boasts quality. See how Napoleon will help you achieve the perfect grilling experience. Visit Green Acres Nursery today with your best selection of Napoleon grills and accessories.
The Drive Guys, live and local, every afternoon, Monday through Friday on Sacktown Sports.
Woo! Drive Guys here. Watching Devin Carter, Isaac Jones going through some pregame shoot around here. Interesting, just talking to Kevin Calabro, and he confirmed what we were suspecting. Oh, look, there's Keegan's brother.
Yeah, Chris out there.
Yeah.
Yep.
That as far as the Blazers are concerned, this is a big game for them. I mean,
Yeah, they're
looking
playing to
young
win,
team,
right?
Yeah.
Ain't no tanking in their lexicon, like that. They coming out here to get this W. And like I said, this is a first game, I think, of a 5-game road trip for them.
Mm-hmm.
But they're looking at Sacramento as ripe for the pickings.
Right.
They're like, oh, yeah, we can win this game. Let's go.
Yeah. Isn't it interesting? I mean, if they were to find their way into the play-in, it's unlikely. But if they were, the Blazers and their fans would be, how about that? And Kings fans like, no.
Oh, we don't want no play-in. Screw the play-in, right?
Yeah.
It's all about perspective, Whitey.
It is.
Excited looking at it.
Expectations and all that. But I do think it's interesting here looking at the rest of the season and trying to figure out what it all means for Doug Christie. Because I've been, ever since they went on that winning streak early in Doug's reign here, I figured he's probably going to keep the job. And I still think he will. But do you think, in your opinion, how much does what they do over the last 10 games, how far does that go towards determining whether he's back as head coach?
That's a great question. That's honestly what I think should happen and what I think will happen are two entirely separate things.
Understood.
I think a lot has to do with who's calling the shots.
Yeah.
This offseason.
Right.
Is Monty McNair calling the shots? Is it a new GM? What's happening here? And so I think Doug has shown me enough to warrant another opportunity, an off season, a training camp, and everything like that. And so I think Doug will be the coach, because here's the thing too. We just had Kevin Calabro on, and they stuck with Chauncey Billups.
Yeah, I
and
was thinking of
whose
that.
decision that was.
Mhm.
It was the ownership. And so does ownership still view Doug in that way? And I would say yes. So I think he's going to be the coach next season.
Yeah, I would think that if whoever decided that he was going to be the head coach, if they had any thoughts that he would become potentially the next full-time head coach, which they had to, I don't see how you could change your mind on that based on anything that's happened. Now, obviously, it's possible that, from here on out, if the bottom just completely fell out, it might make it tricky to say, yes, he's our guy. But short of that, I'd be really surprised if they went another way. Now, as you said, a wild card in all this is, what if they do decide someone else is going to be the GM? And I think we're both on record as saying, we hope that doesn't happen.
Right.
If it does, who knows? Then if someone's coming in like, yeah, well, I'll be the coach. I'll be the GM, but you gotta let me bring my guy.
Well, think about it. When Monty got the job, he was told Luke Walton is the coach.
I know. Yeah.
And so it just depends. And I think, if you go through that process of interviewing and all that, you got to ask. Those are things you got to find out beforehand. You know what I mean? And when you're talking to candidates.
Yeah.
I will say this about Doug. And I see a lot of chatter on the YouTube chat and the text line, get rid of Doug, get rid of Doug. Tell me what Doug has done that has made you lose faith. Is he Greg Popovich? Is he Eric Spoelstra? No, of course not. Of course not. He's not at that level yet. Those guys are legendary. Then you also got to look at trading your best player in the middle of the season, trying to institute a new system defensively and offensively. The question is, does the organization believe in the direction Doug wants the team to go, the style of play, and that kind? Because I'll tell you this, one thing I do know, Doug's a motivator. The team has it. The players haven't just mailed it in or checked out or anything like that. And so I've gone on record as saying, Whitey, you look at a guy like J.J. Redick, everybody's singing his praises. Well, he got Nate McMillan on one side and Scott Brooks on the other side. You can't just send a guy out there and expect him to just all of a sudden win 60, 70% of his games when, everything this organization has been through over the last 6 months.
Yeah, I would hope that Doug will be brought back and he'll be allowed to hand pick, or at least have a loud voice in determining who his assistant is and give him an experienced lead assistant. And right now, the whole staff is kind of in disarray.
Yeah, I mean, you got guys, Luke Laux.
So with a new coach, he needs more stability and support from the staff. And right now, Doug Christie's in a situation where he has probably less. And that's just the reality of it. But that said, it's not fair to say, well, yeah, we're going to move on because they didn't win enough games because of what he's dealing with right now.
And here's the thing. And you got people saying, well, Doug's new and he's got more experience than some NBA coaches right now. You know what I mean? More coaching experience before. J.J. Redick had zero and got the job. And so it's not to me about, well, Doug has served his time on the bench. He's been here long enough. 4 seasons. This is his 4th season as a coach. In terms of experience, he's been here long enough to warrant a look for the job. And I think, and no coach, Whitey, does it all by himself. Even Greg Popovich had good assistant coach. Look at Greg Popovich's coaching tree. Mike Budenholzer, Mike Brown, all the great coaches that have come from Greg Popovich coaching tree. And so I don't think, and somebody says Doug's not the issue, and I 100% agree. I believe Doug has shown enough to warrant an opportunity to keep the job.
I think this is an important consideration, too, when it comes to a coach or a manager. And somebody, might have been Grant Brisbee, wrote about this when Gabe Kapler was on his way out in San Francisco. It's not the most important part of being a coach or manager, I know, but it is important. And that is, a coach or manager is the voice of your team to your fans. That's the one that is talking to your fans more than anybody
They're
else in
out
the
front and
organization.
center, yeah.
Now, again, I know it's like, well, he's not a PR person. I know, but that is an important part of it. And I think Doug Christie is uniquely qualified to do that at a very high level. And I think given some of the issues this franchise has had since they've been in Sacramento, that is an important consideration.
Yes, I agree. I agree. The G-Man, baby, the G-Man. We needed that G-Man. We needed to lighten it up a little bit around here.
It's the first he's heard of issues in Sacramento.
Right. He's like, what?
He was
No
surprised.
way. Everything's been sunshine and rainbows for 40 years.
Yeah.
You know, gold, silver, and diamonds. Being a hater out there on the YouTube chat. Should I read this, Whitey, or not?
I hadn't seen it, but go ahead. Yeah,
Doug Christie has done nothing to deserve a head NBA job. Doug is in the top 30, 40, 50, or even 100 coaching prospect. To hire Doug would be unfair. Those way before him who have really worked hard. What does he mean? Does he have some scientific study he's done about who the top 30, 40, 50, or 100 coaching candidates are?
Standings.
Right,
Yeah.
right. And let me ask gold, silver, and diamonds. Did J.J. Redick deserve it? It's not about whether you deserve it or not. Mind you, Doug does because he served as an assistant for 4 seasons. It's about, can you do the job when you get there? And to me, navigating the waters that we've had to deal with, that shows me Doug is a leader. First and foremost, Whitey, as a coach, you got to be a leader.
Right.
And I'm seeing that from Doug. X's and O's, we can argue about that. But that's why you have strong assistant coaches. That's why you have a strong staff with you, you know? And so that's hate right there from gold, silver, and diamond. That's just pure hate right there.
I don't think that's as important as it used to be. I'll take another approach to that.
Oh, okay.
Because, and J.J. Redick's a great example. I go back to when Doc Rivers was hired. It's like, why is Doc Rivers? He's an analyst. Why is he getting hired? When Steve Kerr was hired, he'd never been a head coach. That's the way it's done now. Now, you still have to do the job, but it's not like, oh, you got to pay your dues before you're an NBA head coach. It's just not done that way. To me, the bottom line on Doug Christie is, are the players playing hard for him? And that's another thing we'll have to see the rest of the season. I think some people look at the struggles they've had and maybe they question how hard the team is playing. I don't think that's an issue with this team.
No, I don't think it's you know, they're just.
If it were, it would be time to move on
out there. Yeah. I sense they're still playing hard.
Yeah.
And here's the thing, you know, and Man says, give Doug some good assistant coaches, a better younger roster, and let him walk. Today's coaching is more than just X's and O's. It's relationships with players. And that's one thing Doug seems to still has a great relationship with the players. And so I look at a guy like Joe Mazzulla, for instance. They wanted to run Joe Mazzulla out of town.
Yeah.
They were like, get rid of him.
I thought they were going to.
Yeah, I thought so too. But then they brought in Sam Cassell as an assistant coach. They beefed up the staff around him. Remember, he was sort of in Doug's situation. Right before the season, Ime Udoka gets fired. We went into Mazzulla.
Yeah.
And it was brutal. It was rough to start. The organization, talking about the Celtics, realized we need to get more experience around Joe. They did that, hired Sam Cassell, bam, you win a championship. And so, yeah.
Yeah. We'll come right back with a look at what the Kings owe fans tonight. Drive Guys from the Goal One Center on Sacktown Sports.
Tonight, Kings and Trailblazers. Game night with Scott Marsh and the high flyer Henry Turner starts at 5:30. Tip off at 7.
The Kings play here on Sacktown Sports.
Sacktown Sports, 1140.
Did you know your skin is the largest organ of your body? Huh? That's why you should shower with Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash instead of plain old bar soap. Love your skin by super hydrating it with vitamin B3 and glorious notes of vanilla and shea. Did you know that my super hydrated skin is the second largest organ of my body?
Come check out Capital Casino, Sacramento's #1 poker room with the most variety of table games in the region in a safe and friendly environment. Plenty of well-lit parking available, conveniently located in downtown Sacramento. And remember, Capital Casino has the best food, the best service, and the best action. 411 North 16th Street in downtown Sacramento. For more information, log on to capital-casino.com and please gamble responsibly. 1-800-GAMBLER.
Huge savings now on new 2025 Silverado at the Maida Chevy Silverado Supercenter.
Save $11,000 off MSRP after rebates and free new Silverado LT Turbo Max with Maida Chevy's exclusive all-in-stock pricing.
And Maida Chevy has one of the largest selections in the Sacramento area.
$11,000 off new Silverado at the Maida Chevy Silverado Supercenter. Now that's big, huge. See them all at MaidaChevy.com. Together, let's drive.
Not available with special financing, leasing, some other offers.
Made a great deal at Maida.
Did you know colon cancer can be detected early or prevented through regular screening?
I have detected Around Earth is the greatest lie ever.
Okay, Roger. My uncle just passed away and I inherited his cockatoo, Roger. He was a member of the Flat Earth Society, so Roger picked up on some of his rhetoric. Anyway, screening, such as a colonoscopy.
Screen these! Screen these!
Roger that, Roger. Moving on. Colonoscopies can detect early-stage colon or rectal cancer or even polyps, which are abnormal growths that can turn into cancer over time.
I'm a Flat Earth walker.
Come on, Roger. What did I do to my uncle to deserve you? You don't get to choose what you inherit, just like colon cancer. Unlike Roger here, I believe in science. And science says that if colon cancer runs in your family, you're more likely to develop it yourself. Talk to your doctor about when you should start screening. Find out more at coloncancercoalition.org. A message from the Colon Cancer Coalition.
Mike Rowe here with a quick question. Have you noticed cracks in your drywall, chimney, or exterior walls? I hope not, because if you have, they could be indications that you've got a much bigger problem with your foundation. That's where Groundworks comes in. They can honestly assess your situation and create a plan to stabilize your foundation. Schedule your free inspection at groundworks.com/row. And while you're there, check out my latest dirty job. It's a good one.
Licensed in all states where work is performed. See website for details.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's your boy, Kyle Draper. Equip your staff with top-notch uniforms, professionally cleaned and delivered weekly to your workplace by Alsco Uniforms, proud sponsors of the Sacramento Kings Mop Crew. Our services include uniforms, towels, floor mats, mops, first aid supplies, and restroom essentials to uphold cleanliness and safety standards in your business. Discover why it pays to keep clean with Alsco Uniforms. Visit alsco.com to learn more. Again, visit alsco.com.
With 25 award-winning years in Northern California, Ashton & Price is your local injury law firm. Pro attorney tip: if a firm presents as local but they're in LA, red flag. If your first consultation is not with a lawyer, big red flag. At Ashton & Price, your first consult is with a local attorney, and if serious injury prevents travel, a lawyer will come to you. Still not enough? George Washington's my uncle. At Ashton & Price, no red flags, just red, white, and blue.
Remember, for the best advice, don't think twice. Call Ashton & Price.
Toyota's Ready, Set, Go sales event ends soon. Hit the road or trail in a powerful new Toyota truck with unstoppable performance and legendary reliability. Hurry in for a low lease on 2024 Tacoma or get low financing or incredible $3,000 cash back on 2025 Tundra. Or check out the all-new redesigned 2025 4Runner. Don't miss Toyota's Ready, Set, Go sales event. Toyota, let's go places. APR offer available through TFS to buyers with premium rated credit. Cashback available through TMNA and cannot be combined with other offers. Ends 3/31/25.
Sacramento's premier country music festival, Country in the Park, is coming back May 16th and 17th at Cal Expo with Bailey Zimmerman, Billy Currington, Cole Wetzel, Nate Smith, and more. You'll enjoy food trucks, rock walls, and a mechanical bull, line dancing, and more. Single-day GA tickets start at $52 at CITPFest.com. Country in the Park, May 16th and 17th with Paul Mitchell, The School, Sacramento, and Stoney's Rockin' Rodeo. Find out more at CITPFest.com.
Your local sports leader in the 916.
KHD1 Sacramento, KYMX HD3 Sacramento.
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios, Sacktown Sports 1140. Your afternoon home for Kings talk and so much more. The Drive Guys on Sacktown Sports.
Yeah, we got game night coming up, bottom of the hour. And in fact, it is game night here at the Golden One Center. That's the theme for tonight. So I guess that means we're going to have lots of goofy stunts based on board games and things, right, Drapes? I made up a great board game once with my daughters. It was a rainy day and we was talking, so I was like, all right, we're going to make up a game. It was a great game. We actually would play it after I made it instead of other games.
Really? What was it?
Strawberry Kingdom. Yeah, and you had to make your way around the board and collect strawberries, but bad things would happen and you lose your strawberries. And great. It was a great game. Great.
You didn't patent that or
I did.
mass produce that or
I
something?
should have. Yeah.
Should have, man.
Yeah.
Well,
Well, everything
you
now
said
is
next to
video games. So I thought,
Yeah.
games.
Oh.
Game Schmore games.
Yeah. Yeah. I did an event not too long ago and I met a kid and he's designed 4 video games, he said.
Wow.
And I'm like, and this is a high school kid.
Yeah.
And that's what he wants to do. And I'm like, really? I wouldn't even know how to begin to create a video game.
I think you have to do coding.
Coding.
I don't know what that is, but I know that. Yeah,
right.
you could
Yeah.
coding. Yeah. Tonight, I think the Kings owe the fans something.
Ooh,
and I know
let me hear
that
it.
fans need to support a team. And a lot of times you hear, sometimes even members of the media, fans need to get out here tonight. We don't have that much around here. But fans need to support this team. Sometimes I think the team needs to support the fans. And I think tonight is one of those nights for those who are still coming out. And I know a lot of Kings fans are starting to, they're starting to lose their grip on the rope, and their faith is starting to wane a little bit. But the Kings need to come out and remind these fans how joyful it can be to be a Sacramento Kings fan. They need to an honest effort. It's all you can guarantee. Obviously they need to win the game and light the beam. That would be ideal.
That would be nice.
But they need to come out and play with force and effort and reward these fans.
Right. Yeah, I'm with you. 4 home games left, including tonight.
Yeah.
This is it, And so what's so crazy about this, Whitey, is it feels like that win against Cleveland was months ago.
It does.
Right? That was just last week, though.
Uh-huh.
But it feels like it was eons ago.
I can't even remember.
I know that.
I know it happened, but I don't remember.
Right. It was a vibe in here, man. It was crazy. And now we've completely lost that. And so, to your point, we need to regain that too, regain that vibe, and then go out on the road and have a successful 4-1 or a 5-1 road trip or something like that. And then come back here, final 3. This place will be rock. The fans are clamoring to get behind you.
Yes.
They're looking for a reason.
Like, we beg you, give us something to cheer about. Anything.
Yep. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. I'm looking at the YouTube chat. There's some fighting going on.
Really?
Man, Fastlane says, just because you don't know hoops, not my problem. Like they're going at it. TR, man, a lot of terrible takes today. Keep it up.
Jeez. We're just having fun.
Yeah,
we're just talking basketball, having
sports.
Fun, right?
It ain't that serious.
Yeah.
We're talking sports.
That's right. It's interesting as we talk about the Kings and their identity and what they need to do. And they need to lean into offense. We're just talking to Kevin Calabro. And what did he say? He said, everything they do on offense, talking about the Blazers, of course, starts at the defensive end. So I start to feel like I'm chasing my own tail here, because, the defense isn't great, but you gotta lean into the offense. But the offense is hard,
right? Yeah,
in the half court when you're not defending. So obviously they go hand in hand.
Well, and the thing about it too is what changed for Portland, and Kevin Calabro said it. They added Denny Avdia. They found Tumani Kamara. You know what I mean?
And these 6'8", 6'9" guys.
Right. They found some size and length.
Yeah.
I mean, is that Matisse Thybulle out there getting shots up? They are the tallest team in the league, mind you, in terms of average height. The Portland trip, but they got about 8, 9, 10 guys that are like 6'8" and above. It's crazy.
Mm-hmm. Banton's coming tonight, right?
Delano Banton.
Yeah.
King's killer.
Yeah. Last year, it was one of the funniest things I've ever seen. Remember the last game of the year here?
Yeah.
Regular season was Portland, and he had a dreadful shooting night. It just almost historically bad. But you remember he was getting into it with Duarte. And then, going back and forth. And then late in the game, Duarte comes out, and Colby Jones came in. And Banton, cheap shot.
Oh, yeah, I remember.
And I think it's because he thought it was Duarte.
Right.
He thought it was Chris.
Yeah. Colby just checked it like, what I do? Why
what? What is that?
Why are you mad at me? Yeah, I do remember that. Delano Banton. He had a good game, too, last time we played them in Portland, came off the bench. And I thought his energy sort of changed that game. This is a solid Portland team, man. This ain't no, tanking Utah or anything like that. These boys are out here trying to win games. So we got to strap up and bring it tonight.
Yeah, Kevin Calabro pointing out that when you lose face of the franchise, in their case, Dame Lillard, he said it takes time, right? It takes time to recover from that because it leaves a gaping hole. Are we expecting too much, Drapes, from the Kings? Are we expecting too much to think, all right, the bounce back, get Zach LaVine, here we go, everything's fine?
Nah, I mean, what are they with Doug Christie as coach? I got that right here. Let me pull it up. With Doug as coach, our Sacramento Kings are 22-20.
Okay.
If you extrapolate that, Whitey, over a full season, it's not that bad. He's won 52% of his games, 22-20. So that's about a 45-win team or so going forward.
Yeah.
If you were to do, considering everything, that's not that bad, actually. I do think we might be expecting it too quickly. We expected night and day. Oh,
yeah.
You change coach. Oh, everything's fine. That's just going to cure everything. You make a trade. That's just going to cure everything. And it doesn't always happen like that.
It just seems like some of the things have eventually caught up with them.
Yeah.
And
the schedule caught up with them.
Yeah, definitely. That's definitely true.
Right. I mean, we went into March talking about, it's going to be difficult. And then it lives up to the billing. And now we're like, this is terrible. This team is underachieving. No, this team is actually doing what we pretty much thought they would do in March right now with this murderer's row kind of schedule.
Mm-hmm. Got to defend the 3-point line tonight, huh?
Yeah.
Why is that? All season long, why has that been such an issue for the Kings on both sides of the floor?
I think they're not locked in, Whitey. They just fall asleep mentally. They mentally
really
take possessions off. I really do. Because it's not just giving up threes. It's the type of threes, corner threes, slow closeout. Like to me, it's not about, we're not a good defensive team. Some of our issues are lack of mental fight, if you will, lack of being present in the moment. It's like a guy gets the ball. Oh, all right, now I got to go out there. Instead of anticipating, the ball's coming out, let me get there as soon as he catches it. It's like these guys are too good. Now, this Portland team is not a great three-point shooting team, but they got guys that can make three-pointers. We saw it last time out.
Right.
We played them up there in Portland. And so, you got to defend. That's every game in the NBA. Got to defend the three.
In the last two games, they've shot a lot. They've put up 99 threes over the last two games. They've made 36%. They shot the ball really well against Cleveland and not so well against Boston, or vice versa.
Right.
I apologize. But you can't let Simons and Sharp go off on you tonight. They combined for 54 the last time the Kings played against Portland. And then it was Cleveland's and the game, the team against whom they struggled. They were 10 for 32 versus Cleveland.
10 for 32 against Cleveland.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm watching Matisse Thybulle just get them up shot after shot after shot. In today's NBA, you got to be able to defend the 3-point line. And since January 19th, that's something this Portland team has been doing tremendously. So it'll be interesting to see if we can get up those 49, 53s that Doug is asking for. But what they have in Simons and Shaedon Sharp, guys that could get hot, could go on heaters. Whitey, and this is no shade. This is just, illustrating if Keon Ellis can go on a heater, Simons can go on a heater. Shaedon Sharp go. So we have to respect those guys in that regard. You know what I mean? Like, we can't let these guys get hot.
Keon Ellis is one of the best, if not the best, 3-point shooter. He doesn't get a chance to go off. He doesn't get enough touches, enough shots.
Yeah.
If he gets like 14 shots, it's like, oh my goodness.
Right.
Is your arm sore?
Right. And, we've seen him. What do you have? 9 in the game earlier this season? I think it was when he had scored 33 that one game. I feel like with Keon, he probably benefits the most out of good ball movement. Him and Keegan, I'll say. But I think Keon probably because Keon isn't going to search for hunt his own shots. He's the product of, all right, Zach passes me the ball or Domas passes me the ball. I'm ready to knock it down. You know what's interesting? I'm saying we need a Drew Holiday, a Derek White type. Could Keon be that guy? Both ends.
Close. He's as close as the Kings have to it.
Right
He's
now.
not. He needs to be a little, especially if you're going to compare him to Drew Holiday.
Yeah, Drew could guard everybody in the league.
Wrong.
Yeah, he's guarding 1 through 5 easily. Same thing with Derek White. Derek White, that's Keon's only issue. It's like the strength, because we've seen even Jaylen Brown, just muscle.
Some guys,
yeah,
he just gets pushed around a little bit. The game against Oklahoma City, talked about the 3-point shooting. It is interesting. It's unusual. I know you've talked about this because the Kings shot the 3 ball very well, 23 for 47, 48.9%. And yet the Thunder made 59.4% of their threes. 59.4% of them.
Yeah, you got to defend the 3, man. You can't allow a team, I don't care who they are, you give up 59%, then they're feeling good offensively.
And it wasn't one or two guys.
It was everybody.
Yeah,
everybody.
Yeah.
I mean, even the other Jay Will.
Yes.
Knocking him down, right? Like, what was he, 3 of 3? Or?
He was 2 for 4 from beyond the arc, but it was Kenrich Williams 3 for 4.
Kenrich.
Dortz 3 for 6.
Yeah.
And let's see, Isaiah Joe was 4 for 6.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I think teams come in and they know against this Kings team, you're going to get your 3-point looks. You're going to get good looks. And teams come in and they shoot with a lot of confidence.
Yes. Yeah. And that's the thing. I don't know if it's this gym. There's been some thought like, this is a shooter's a gym.
Yeah.
It's like, man, you know what, Whitey, watching that OKC game, I really thought that. I'm like, is there something we can do to make it like turn the lights down, or you know what I mean? Do something, because teams come in here and just hit everything, it seems like.
We're going to be joining Doug Christie for his pregame.
Yes.
When as soon as that gets underway here, which should be momentarily here, getting ready for the Kings.
Wes Wilcox courtside. Wes Wilcox is still here, still in town. This is probably his final game with the organization.
Mm-hmm.
He put out his goodbye letter yesterday, but I see Wes Wilcox courtside here.
Is it possible, as Anthony Slater suggested, that Wes Wilcox just saw an opportunity that was a really great opportunity for he and his family?
Perhaps. I mean, it's possible. I would say probably a lot less stress.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And the thing about it too, from a family standpoint, when you have a position like Wes, Monty, your family is recognizable. Your wife and kids as they navigate the arena. I remember I was before Mike Brown was fired. Remember his mom was here at the game before. And imagine being a family member and you're sitting in the audience hearing some of the things that people are saying. Imagine being Wes's family, wife, kids, and you're sitting in the audience hearing some of the things people are screaming and saying about your husband.
Mm-hmm.
That's tough, man. So, it could have played a part in it. Maybe you go to a Utah where you're not as visible, your family's not as visible. And so, that could have played a part.
Speaking of 3-point shooting, let's say you are Doug Christie, or let's just say you're coach of the team, Kyle Draper, coach of the team. That is not hard to imagine at all.
No, it should happen sometime soon.
Yeah. After the last game, do you even, as you're sitting there trying to think, is there anything else we could try? Do you even entertain the notion of maybe I give Dougie McBuckets a few more looks or some more minutes or something? Because sometimes he comes in and it's just like, bam, bam,
right,
bam.
Right.
He took 4 threes and made 3 of them in less than 5 minutes.
Yeah. He did go to him. I think, was it in the first half? He went how many minutes, Dougie?
4:19.
He played. Yeah. I thought he went to him. It might have been the Boston game.
Yeah.
One of those games he went to him early, in the first half. And I think with Doug, it's almost, and I'm talking about McDermott, it's almost like, all right, let me give him a minute or two to see if he's and if he's not, then I got to pull him out. I think, why not? Why not? Like tonight, why not give him that opportunity?
Yeah. When he's in the game at the end, everyone's looking for him though, right? When he's in the game at any point with,
and he's not hesitating at all. Like,
right.
He knows it's his time to get him up.
Yeah. But if he's on the floor with guys that play more, they're not looking for him.
Yeah, exactly. Is
all
this,
right.
DC? Now?
Yes. We'll join Doug Christie now in his pregame chat downstairs.
My friend, how are you?
Good. You get Malik back tonight.
Yes.
Just how much does he mean to your team as far as one of the few true distributors you have?
Malik is like vitally important from a leadership standpoint. He is one of our leaders for sure. The energy that he brings, the playmaking, the ability to score on all 3 levels, the ability to play in the pocket with Domas. Like there's a lot of different aspects that Malik brings. So glad to have him back and super excited to see him on the floor.
Doug, first off, how do you feel about your Mariners this year?
I mean, listen, what's wrong with you, man? We're talking basketball, bro. Why you coming for me, man? I ain't even sent for you, bro. Go M's. That's right.
Secondly, speaking of Malik and going back to Malik, you've talked about just the challenges you faced with all the changes over the last few months. Malik has gone from off the bench to starter to primary point guard duties. How have you assessed just how he's handled all these changes and what he's trying to take on?
I mean, first and foremost, I think that he has been game for everything that's thrown in his way, and I think that's commendable first and foremost, because the lead guard position in our league is very difficult, and to be thrown in there to try to change his game to help us in any way that he can is like super big time, because there are a lot of players in our league that wouldn't do that. They would, I'm comfortable where I'm at. You figure it out, and I'm gonna stay in my role. But for him, he was like, whatever you need from me, D, I got you. So I really appreciate that from him, and he said the same thing coming back tonight. So he's been a breath of fresh air ever since I met the kid. I love him, truly, I do.
Hi, Doug.
Hey.
On the defensive end of the floor, how big of a difference does it make for a team when you've got like at least two like plus defenders out there at the same time? And for that reason, I know it's late in the year, but does it kind of sit in your mind like what to do with Keon now and whether maybe he needs to be out there somehow?
He will be. It's vitally important. I think there are certain ways that we go about trying to manipulate it. And you see this with a lot of different teams, but the ability to, especially on the wings, like Keon, Keegan, both all league defenders, in my opinion, write that down. Jake has been great. Devin has been great. Markel can defend. Like, there are times when you need an offensive team and you need a defensive team, and then you need a combination of both. And I think, to your point, when you have two guys on the perimeter that can really guard and try to take out one or two of their guys, or at least limit them, make it tough for them, I think it's a really good thing for us to have. It's something that we haven't had around here in a while. Appreciate you guys.
Quick session.
That was
today.
short. Oh my
Christy.
gosh.
Yeah, Matt George dropping the Seattle Mariners.
Yeah, the M's, huh? Wow. That was, how many questions was that? 3?
One.
Darn, that was, what the
Might have
heck's
been
going on?
Might have been 3. Yeah.
Deuce not in there. That's why Deuce down there chopping it up with Wes Wilcox. He's not in the pregame media availability. That's what.
Maybe that's what
Great.
they weren't many people in there. Interesting answer about Keon and Keegan, because that's exactly what we've been talking about today. And he mentioned the other defenders. Didn't somebody on the team say the only two defenders they have are Keegan and Keon? Clearly they're best defenders. But Doug mentioned Devin, and he mentioned Jake LaRavia, and he mentioned Markel Fultz.
And Markel.
Not mentioned.
Yeah, and I thought Markel actually looked decent the other night against OKC. And then
he's had 2 good games in a row.
Yeah, a couple good games in a row. And so maybe we'll see him. But how about that, breaking news, Malik Monk is back.
Yeah.
It's, as what they say, the head of the snake. He's the head of our offensive snake. And so I'll tell you, Whitey, man, it got to be difficult, though. Guys in and out of the lineup. Malik, one game. Domas, Jake, we haven't, and that's no excuse. It is what it is. I'm not making excuses. We haven't seen the full team in a while. It seems like and I understand that's what it is this time of the season, right? Everybody's dealing with something.
You need to put this video on. It's amazing. You're tying your tie while you're doing a radio show. There's videos, on YouTube, how to tie a tie.
I should do.
Yeah.
Ooh, do like a daily version of it or something like that. Like a video.
Yeah.
Social
you're not
media.
you're not even looking at it. Get it done. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna redo this one. It's not long enough though, because you got to measure it from here down to your belly button or so, and I feel like I want it a little bit longer, just a tad bit.
And what are your duties tonight?
On the call, big
There
fella.
you
Need a
go.
win. So they're like, Drapes, we need you, baby. We need you. So, yeah, I'm on the call tonight, me and Katie.
All right. So Devin Carter knocks one down from way downtown. Where we go? Gonna an ode to Stockton, maybe?
Yeah, I got to come up. Yeah, maybe Stockton.
Lodi.
Yep, Lodi. Our guy, Mike Bird, who's the director for our Sacramento Kings broadcast, is a Lodi guy. So maybe that. Or should I go up north a little bit? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Tahoe, South Lake Tahoe, or something like that. I'll come up with something. It can't be Yuba City. I did that twice this season. It got to be something else.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm sure the people of Yuba City appreciate that.
You got a wish list tonight or not?
We pretty much went over it. Defend a 3-point line. Don't let Simons and Sharp go off on you.
Okay.
And then I didn't even write down a third because they just
no offensive wishes out here tonight.
What do you got? Fill it in for me.
I wish a great offensive game from Zach LaVine.
Great.
I want to see him. I want to see
40 burger or more.
Give me 30. I'll take 30. But I don't got to be greedy. I don't have to be greedy. Give me.
You said great, so 30 is not great unless it's like highly efficient.
Right. You know, go like 11 of 14 with 6 or 7 threes. You know, get to the line. Just a nice, good, solid Zach. Sort of like the Spurs game, but not as you ain't got to hit 8 threes, Zach, but something of that line.
Yeah, a lot on the line tonight. And I know some people say, oh, what do these games matter? But it's just going to be awfully tough for this team to gather themselves and get anything done if they can't win tonight.
Yeah, you
got to win tonight.
You got to beat this team. This team, they have thoughts of making a play-in. And right now, you're half a game up on Phoenix, I think it is, in the standings?
Yeah, those thoughts of them being a play-in team, those must be squelched right now, right? You may not think that on our home floor.
You know what's interesting? I was listening to Magic Johnson on this Byron Scott podcast, and he used to say to his teammates, I don't want to play the fourth quarter. So go out there and make it happen. And that's what we need to hear from Domas, DeMar, Zach. I need to have ice on my knees in the fourth quarter. Let's go out there and handle these jokes.
All right. So you're back with us on Monday, right? Because you're traveling tomorrow.
Yeah, Monday I'll be in San Francisco. Yep.
All right.
Back here.
Have a great call tonight,
All right,
Drapes.
okay. Yep.
Yeah. Thanks for being with us. Make sure you stick around for game night. It's next with Scott Marsh and the High Flyer Henry Turner on Sacktown Sports.